Hello, and I am back again because I can work faster than I can 3D print, which is beneficial, I suppose. Let's load up the game. So, just started Purple Science last week, but I don't think it had actually made any yet. So, yeah, just trying to get this bit smoothed out. I am sitting in a Discord today, so there are potentially going to be other people here, or at least there were other people here.
I'm here. I just muted because just gonna grab something to eat.
Yeah, no worries. I put something in the oven and was like, this is going to take a while, but I want to stream now. So, in a little while, in like half an hour, I'm going to go and get something to eat. Yeah, so last stream, I got the logistics research done, so now I have swarms and swarms of robots everywhere. They're doing a good job. I've been working on Purple Science and I guess improving iron production, because that's a thing that should happen. Because at the moment I have very little iron, and as a result I have very little cogs, and with very little cogs I cannot make many of those things, but that's not the problem anymore. What's the problem now? I have those. Not many of them, but I have some. Okay. I guess it just doesn't have that many of them. Yeah, I'm making the stack inserters. I probably should have upgraded, but I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. As a result, loads of these factories don't actually have any inserters and are therefore not doing anything. Productivity. Let's dump those back into the network. You know what? If I put those into the network, are they going to get used for anything? Should do. Yeah, they will. Yeah, it didn't help that I've got the sun right down the middle of my screen, so I can't quite see where I'm standing. But, yep, excuse me. Bit of a backlog on the ammunition, but that shouldn't last too long. I've expanded the turrets over this side, however, I need more power, as the network has gone much bigger, but the power station is not. I should probably start mining this uranium, because that would be a good idea. And, well, you know, while I'm waiting for that to start up, I've got all the equipment to do mining very easily. I guess I will try and be a bit productive. Because I need nuclear power. That's just basically a thing at this point. What you doing? Okay, I need more red chips. So I've got a red chip factory. I don't have any plastic, apparently. Do I not have plastic because I'm not making plastic, or do I not have plastic because I've run out? No, it's because I'm not exporting it. That would be the problem. See, I've played this game before, I know what I'm doing. So yeah, I need to start making a lot of efficiency chips, and for that I'm going to need lots of red. Yeah, so while I'm waiting for this to all sort of chug itself into life, let's go and deploy more of these. And I have neglected to leave the power connection in. That was clever. There we go. Oops. Yeah, I'll expand the perimeter wall to around this at some point. But for now, it's not much of an issue. I guess I'll square this out. Let's try not to have my monitor turn off. Yeah, I should make some bigger templates for these. Printer is so far behaving. I'm printing interior walls because I'm very exciting like that. That is not where I meant to put that. Oh, I'm gonna have to demolish so much cliff. Oh well, what even is the landscape? But safety perimeter should stop the aliens coming in, you know, eating everything. Which they're a big fan of doing for some reason. Can't imagine why. Probably all the pollution I'm causing, which I'm going to try and cut down on by having nuclear power. So I'm thinking of having a probably a bottling plant for what's it called? Sulfuric acid, and just busting sulfuric acid over here. Because that seems like a good idea. It's kind of inconvenient. I don't know if they've still got all of the old options for building templates. Like where you could set the demolition templates to just trees and stuff for clearing out foliage. Foliage, if you are not Marge Simpson. Ooh, that is an old reference. Ooh. Right. Now to connect the power grid. So if anyone was following it, my D&D game was last night. There's the D&D 3.5-ish. The gang have found another burned town, but they found one of the survivors who directed them towards a nearby mountain, where they have gone to investigate a cave that might contain, you know, useful things, or their doom, Possibly they're doing. Likely they're doing. Probably they're doing. So I'm just going to put power lines in. Oh, an error has occurred. That's good when my live playback has crashed. So I don't know if my stream is still online or not, but...
I was just going to say, have you broken something?
Don't know! It's going, an error has occurred. It is still exporting. It's on green and exporting. I'm going to refresh the page.
Let me just bring the stream up and have a look. Hang on. Well, it says you're live.
Yeah, I refreshed and it's saying it's fine now. Very rarely have the watch page open, so that's not reassuring. And I normally only have it open for the chat.
Do you want me to dump the link in, like, the shameless plug?
If you want to, but I don't generally bother. The grounds of if people want to watch it, they'll, know about it, and if they don't, then... meh. Normal streaming is, how long does it take to actually play this at any reasonable degree of efficiency?
This game looks like a massive time sink.
Oh, it is. So, electric pole, electric pole. There we go. I need to connect those poles to something. And then I need a... Oh, that's a thing's being destroyed. That's a thing's being destroyed just next to me as well. Hopefully I didn't lose anything too valuable. Well, at least they're building the perimeter wall now. And make the biters pay for this wall. Pay with their blood.
Well, I mean, if they're destroying the stuff, it seems only right that they have to pay with their blood, doesn't it?
Apparently it's unethical.
According to who?
Probably the biters, some kind of biter rights activists. You can't just murder your problems away. That's where you're wrong, kiddo.
But life would be so much easier if you could actually do that.
People try. It's generally illegal. Oh, I still need to watch the Beard Bearing stream of the Cthulhu game.
Yeah, it's just the price of that game that puts me off of getting it.
Yeah. So I think I got him the, what's it called? Vermintide. For several people, I think, actually.
Mm.
I think I basically just bought the 4-player bundle or something. I forget, actually. Something like that, anyway.
Mm.
I was like, this seems like a good idea.
Yeah, I need to go back to playing Vermintide 2.
Yeah, I've not played that much of it, so when I play with other people now, it's just like, oh, I am very far behind. People have all got their shiny magical things, and I'm sitting there going, got a stick. Big stick, but still just a stick.
I mean, I think I got one of the characters to a high-ish level. It doesn't mean I'm any good at playing the game, though. Just kind of run at things and like press buttons and hope for the best.
So I need to start bottling up sulfuric acid and exporting it. That will be productive. What? Yeah, I can hear things being destroyed. How about my robots do their jobs? There we go. Completely proportional response. Just drop an entire stack of ammunition into it. So let's drop it into this one, and drop it out again. I'm just going to sit here and guard it until actually they complete the rest of my network. Because apparently not doing that is popular. There we go. So hopefully I can get on with some things for a minute. So all the mines are ready, I just need sulfuric acid. Yay, acid! Then I need to run a pipeline so I can make a nuclear plant, because I need a good supply of water. Because that's, you know, sensible. And as I've refreshed, it's set to top chat where I can't actually see everything. And apparently I've walked out of the robot covered area. Oops. So, sulfuric acid. Miss having, and it should get to the research to get my own roboport. That's pretty useful. So I'm going to need the power core. Not seeing the power core. Probably need the power armor first. Stuff's about to get destroyed over there. Yay. So 30 barrels. Output 30 barrels. Have an electric pylon. There we go. Right, everything is now ready. I just need to have my robots collect everything from me. So how's this getting along? Making copper wire, making green. Not very much green. Not very much copper wire either, apparently. Oh no, loads of copper wire, they're just not delivering it because there aren't enough of them.
The whole making green just reminded me of Blackadder.
The nuggets of purest green. Looks like someone sneezed on your lapel.
Quite impressive that like none of the humour from that is like dated at all, has it?
It's because it was well written.
True.
By people who knew what they were doing. As opposed to recycling what someone wrote when they knew what they were doing.
Mm.
Which is the more common approach these days. This was successful. We don't really understand why, but we're going to copy it, sort of. I assume it will be as successful, and if it's not, it's clearly the result of, like, you know, isms.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can't think of any, like, comedy show, like, of recent that I could see being as popular for as long as, like, Blackadder and stuff.
Oh, that's my food done. So I'm gonna hopefully not die while standing here. Be right back. Num num num. So, these turrets are slowly going in. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10. Right, let's try and improve some efficiencies. So the power grid is holding up nicely. Ish. No, it's nearing its capacity again. Might turn one of these patches into a solar farm.
I managed to find quite a good new band, actually, the other day. But now I'm really disappointed because they've only got one album out.
Ah.
Yeah, they are called Brothers of Metal.
I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a bunch of Viking-y looking peoples.
That sounds about right, yeah.
I always find that really frustrating. I was like, find a new band, and I'm like, oh, you're good, I like you. And then it's like, you've recorded one album. Why have you not made more music for me to listen to?
Or you've got 6 albums out, and they're all the same one.
Yeah, I've come across that a few times.
So, am I just not making enough purple, if at all purple? Apparently I've made no purple yet. That's, quite astounding. Thought I would have found at least one purple. Yeah, the purple should come in here. Oh, 19 are being delivered. That was, convenient.
It's obviously listening.
Like your Google Home or whatever it is that keeps suggesting you music when I bring it up in conversation.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy, actually.
Have you heard the works of Los Colorados? I believe they're a Ukrainian sort of, I don't know how to describe it. Sort of like folk punk, I'm not sure.
No, I haven't.
They do lots of covers. Maybe if I talk about it, it'll suggest it to you.
I like covers of things.
I'm trying to remember if they're the ones that have Yellow Submarine or if that's Selo Eludi. Winners of Ukraine's Got Talent. Forget which year, but they did win it. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Oh. Oops. I had disconnected a part of my factory because I make good decisions. That explains why nothing was getting through the factory, because I hadn't connected it.
I'm sure it's an easy mistake to make.
Just, not a particularly productive one, as I've just been sitting here for ages going, why am I not getting any research done? Oh, because I've disconnected the green, that's why.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of stuff I do all the time with those kinds of games. and spend ages like not realizing what my mistake is and just like scrolling around the whole map like, why is this not working?
Things being destroyed over here again. Trying to keep plenty of trees in the place, because trees are good for pollution. Because they're trees.
Sorry, I momentarily thought as in like helping with pollution, then I realised no, Joe, that's not what trees do.
Technically they do at night.
Ah, yes.
Had a sort of non-TV climate scientist do a little documentary of, I forget even which channel it was on. They're just going through the whole, well, you know, here's all the popular climate science, right? But if you look at the rest of it, it's a lot of it's bullshit. And, you know, the whole, if you ban, you know, plastic straws in California, that's not really going to do any effect, and while China's still burning millions of tons of coal a year.
Yeah, the whole plastic straws thing seems to be everywhere.
You know, by all means, cut down on use of plastic, good. But if it's only you doing it, that's like going, see, I'm not going to contribute to this large building fire by not throwing an extra match on it.
Yeah. It's like, I don't think, like, the use of plastic straws is the biggest problem, really, is it? Like, compared to all the other stuff that's going on.
The EU intends to ban pretty much all plastic packaging by, I think, 2022? To go with that ban on, you know, fossil fuel powered cars. Which I believe was meant to come in by 2020, so, you know,
yeah,
next year.
I was going to say, I'm sure I heard something about 2020 for that. Like,
Well, you know, goalposts have moved.
Because surely it's going to mean a lot of money is going to need to be spent to, like, have enough charging points and stuff for, like, electric cars.
We don't have the power grid for it.
Oh no, here we don't, not at all.
Not even slightly. That's the thing, it's the whole, coal is bad, okay, even if you've got clean burning coal, coal is bad. Okay, so you can't have coal. Right, what about nuclear? Nuclear's bad as well. Alright. Wind. Wind just cuts birds in half, and doesn't really do much. And the cost of the infrastructure is much greater than the, you know, yield. So they take a long time to pay for themselves. I mean, the electricity costs are higher. Solar will be good, but nighttime happens.
Yep.
Unless you've got massive storage batteries, which, you know, isn't really viable. So you're left with tidal, which, you know, interrupts wildlife. So everything's bad, basically.
Yeah.
But as I'm doing in this game, I've got solar panels, I've got battery power for during the night, I've got coal for backups if I need it, and I'm going to go nuclear. Because pollution in this game is actively harmful to me, because it means I get attacked. And that pollution cloud is big and spreading.
Not good. But like, part of me expects with this whole, yep, we're gonna ban, like, you know, most cars.
Well, you know, they're going to ban knives to prevent people from, you know, doing crime. It doesn't... It's not solving the problem. It's just making the solution more difficult.
Yeah, but it sounds like to me. So basically, what you're saying is we need to go back to like the medieval era in terms of technology.
It's fine. You won't use gas or electricity for heating though anymore. What you do is you'll just burn coal or wood.
Yeah.
Because electricity and gas are haram. You know. What's that? You're a bit cold, you know. Put another log on the fire. What do you mean you've not got a fireplace? You want to run your car on gasoline? Can't work. That's the thing, there's loads of developments into, like, good renewable technologies. But the development takes a long time.
Yeah, and people are impatient.
That's the thing. Do you want to spend 10-15 minutes at most filling up your car with petrol? Or even something like a truck with petrol? Or do you want to spend 2 or 3 hours on a fast charge filling it up with electricity?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is like the age of convenience, isn't it, really?
So yeah, so in the age of convenience we're going backwards to less convenient.
Yeah.
You know, I guess just... Because the thing, if they want to ban petrol cars but there aren't good electrical alternatives, or viable alternate fuel alternatives, you might as well just go, fuck you having cars.
Yeah. But just go back to a horse and cart and it'll be fine.
It would probably be quicker to breed lots of horses than it would to, like, develop new cars.
You're probably right there, actually. There we go, problem solved.
Don't get a new car, buy a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't be able to travel as far, but at least you won't be contributing to climate change.
But then, you see, the vegans will have a problem with, using horses in that manner, because that's bad.
Okay, easiest solution then, use vegans to power things.
Yeah, you're cold, throw another vegan on the fire.
You know, it's not going to, like, crackle or spit much, they've got no fat on them.
But, on the plus side, they're quite easy to find, because they do like telling you that they're vegan.
Simple solutions.
That will help with the, the population, like the overpopulation thing as well.
Can't have overpopulation if there aren't people.
Yeah.
Now the question is though, would mass drastically cutting down on the use of petrol be considered racist?
Probably, because
you're taking the income
racist.
away from, like, people in the Middle East, which, you know, is probably Islamophobic.
Probably.
I mean, you know, you wouldn't want to be racist, would you? Taking away the livelihoods of, you know, poor innocent oil farmers.
Oh, it's like the thing, whatever the solution is, someone somewhere is going to have a problem with it, though.
Oh, yeah.
You're never going to be able to win.
So that's why it's, you know, the whole free market capitalist approach of, if there isn't oil, the people who have their business of selling oil will need something else to do, and it'll be very much in their interests to get something that works. This is where the whole, you know, government subsidies for stuff like that seems really odd. When you could just have the oil companies go, well, this stuff is going to run out. We want to have, you know, a secure future. Let's put some effort into developing, you know, alternatives.
Yeah, it kind of would make sense, actually, for, like, the oil companies to spend more money on researching.
That's the thing, a lot of them do. It's just the thing of, you know, the research takes a while and is expensive.
Yeah.
So it generally takes a bit longer, because it's expensive.
Yeah, well, like any scientific advancement takes a lot longer than I think
Oh yeah, and this is the thing,
we
trying to
realise.
rush stuff like that through is bad, which is why... Because I've seen a thing that I know V talks about it quite often, is if, you know, sort of the contraceptive pills were developed today, they would be illegal.
Mm.
You know, you couldn't release that to the market. But because there was so much of a, you know, sort of drive to get it pushed through so quickly, that's why they're not fully developed, and that's where you get, like, some of the hideous side effects sometimes.
Yeah.
Yay!
Well, it's like, more recently it's come out that, like, taking any kind of contraceptive pill for a long period of time ups the risk of, like, various types of cancer and stuff as well.
Yep.
But the thing is, you can't take them away from people because
Yeah.
there will probably be riots.
Well, that's the thing, it's the whole... You know, the loudest groups tend to be the most entitled, which is not useful for civil discourse.
Not really.
Because, you know... I've seen some of the videos when, a few weeks ago, when Sargon was doing some, I guess, documentary-style work around Parliament, and you can just hear, like, the people protesting just literally reeing, and it's just like, what's this going to achieve? Other than making you look like... what would be the correct term for that? Someone who was just reeing into the wind. Make up your own mind, I suppose. But it's just kind of like a bit unsettling that you've got people who are so, for want of a better word, unhinged about that they literally just cry re and let slip the frogs of war.
Yeah. Well, it has. It's become like this whole, like, he who shouts loudest. Doesn't matter if it's, like, incoherent and no one understands. It's like, I'm still louder, so therefore I am right.
Yeah, it's... Shouting and blaming does not actually solve problems.
No.
So the whole... Like, I'm looking forward to the 29th. Not just because I'll get my, hopefully, results back from the hospital, but because I'll get to see what was happening with Brexit. Because if there is not a plan, Brexit happens as a no deal.
Yep.
Unless the government have thrown it out by then, which I have heard rumblings that they intend to do. You know, the whole, well, you know, if you can't work together on this, I guess we're just going to turn this Brexit around and go home.
Yeah. Oh, it's a bit of an embarrassment, though, really.
Oh, yeah, because that's the thing.
You know what I mean? We've got the rest of the world watching us cock up spectacularly.
A lot of people I have seen on Tinterwebs are all like, oh, you know, I can't believe we're not working better with the EU on this, you know, I can't, like, why are we going to these negotiations when we have nothing to, like, gain from it? And it's just like, we had everything to gain from this, because we had nothing to lose.
Yep.
But, you know, the government has decided that it is in our interest to serve the EU. And as a result, everyone's going, well, you know, clearly if the government can't, you know, get anything positive out of this, there was nothing that was to be gained. It just makes me go, no, that's wrong. Because, you know, it's the whole, we buy more stuff from them than they do from us.
Mm-hmm.
We give them more money than we get from them.
Yeah.
That's automatically two really good reasons that they'd want a good deal from us.
Yeah, but people like to ignore those facts.
Because the whole, oh, you're just racist, it's like, oh yes, that great racist thing, maths.
Mm.
It's like, if I'm giving you 3 bananas, and you're giving me back 1 banana, if I don't give you the 3 bananas, I have those 3 bananas, which I can then use to, you know, do things with.
Mm.
So, me not giving you bananas is racist, apparently. That was a poor example.
Yeah, I was just going to say bananas probably wasn't the best example to use, but I get the point you're trying to make.
Well, you know, it's the... I buy, you know, I buy apples from you. If you cannot sell so many apples, you are worse off. Therefore, you want to sell me apples.
Hmm.
So, it's, you know, it's in your interest to make the selling of apples convenient and easy. By putting more hurdles in the way of selling apples, you are just going to hurt yourself. That's like, well, I don't want to sell you apples anyway. Backer.
I think the problem is with the whole Brexit thing, a lot of people made up their mind and it was like, yep, that's it. I've decided what I think is best. Not willing to even bother looking at it anymore and listening to what the opposite sides have to do because I'm right and that's what matters.
Yep, modern politics.
Yeah.
I watched two or three Teal Deer videos on the subject when he was going, so I was interested in seeing where their numbers come from, because apparently they're very hard to report on. So, what I did was, I went ahead and looked at their sources, and their sources weren't there, so I went ahead and looked at the sources for their sources, and those told me that they're all lying. So he went with the very simple, because the immigration number is one of the things that was touted around a lot by both sides.
It was.
And the fun thing is, the immigration numbers are completely, false, basically.
Yeah.
Because the touted immigration numbers are not a good metric, whereas the temporary national insurance numbers are a very good metric.
Yes. Yeah. Makes sense.
And that's the thing, when you got both sides lying about the numbers, one of them going, this is too many, and one of them going, this isn't enough, but both sides are wrong, you kind of go, what's the... Because my thoughts on it at the time were, this seems like a massive mess that is very hard to, have any kind of oversight on. It's probably best to, step away, review things, and potentially go back later. That was my view 2 years ago. 3 years ago now, nearly. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's
yeah,
wild.
I know.
Yeah, that 2 years, guys. Well done.
Yeah.
And now it's a case of, they want to ban the internet tomorrow. That's when the vote is on Article 13. It's tomorrow.
Oh, is it? Oh, I've lost track of dates.
So.
Yeah.
It's the 25th of... this way. Tomorrow, YouTube might just turn off. In Europe. And Facebook. And Twitter. They'll just go. They won't exist anymore. Because the litigation... Because I think it's £250,000 a time that the platforms be sued. If they have any material. Now think about how many thousands of videos are uploaded in the EU every minute. Yeah. How many posts are on the internet? How many people share pictures or memes? All of that goes away. Because the platforms will simply go, no.
Not worth it.
You cannot upload. Well, they might do it as a soft start. They might just go, you can't upload any files. You can upload text, but then text is easier to manage because you just go, is this plagiarism? And if someone else has posted the same thing, presumably within reasonable bounds, that you can't post it. Now, from what I've seen of how it's written, you can get stuff like, say if you go, have a nice day, if someone else has posted have a nice day as a song lyric, that's copyrightable material, you're not allowed to say have a nice day anymore without paying them. That's the level of ridiculousness it gets to when they go, literally, there is no fair use. Fair use doesn't exist. You're not allowed to, give permission for anyone to, use your, derivative works. My current project I'm doing for work would be illegal. I'm using other people's photos as references. I'm using someone else's drawings that I have not paid for, despite the fact that the owner of those drawings gave them to me to make something with. I would need to pay them for using their drawings. Yes, we could probably come to some agreement where I basically pay them, a penny or something. Something like that. But at the same time, that might work on an individual basis, but when you're at the platform of YouTube, no.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
it's
know,
kind of
if someone has a ringtone that plays in like the background of a stream, like if my phone goes off, right? That's a Samsung phone. It has Samsung ringtones on it for like, you know, the things. That's copyright to Samsung. If my phone goes off, I have to pay Samsung if it's online. Like that is how clumsily this thing was written. I've not read through the new one, but I've seen the notes to it, and it's the, oh, you don't need upload filters. You know, we can't tell you to do that because that's against our laws. However, if you have anything uploaded like that, it'll cost you. So you need upload filters. So they can't demand it, but they basically require it. So yeah, the internet might turn off tomorrow. Yay.
Oh, yay. Well, I'll be
Hope
back
you've
on
got
later.
your carrier pigeons.
Hopefully, you know, they don't turn it off. Yeah, I gotta go move people. So,
Have fun.
I'll see y'all later. If you're
catch you
still on.
later.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, no, it's just the whole... That's the thing, I'm sure you've seen the clip of them when they voted it through and they were going, yeah, we got it through, woo!
Yeah.
Despite the fact that you can't not get it through because the EU has the option of yes, or yes but.
Yeah, that I was like, when I saw that, I was like, what kind of a vote is that?
It's a vote where you can't lose. But guys, come on, it's not undemocratic, you know. You've completely got a say in it. What do you mean you're you member of the European Parliament? But no, this is fine. Because I think I saw loads and loads of people who had written to their members of Parliament and gone, hey guys, no, this is bullshit. To which point the MPs basically were back going, nah, it's fine, our advisors told us it was all good. And it's just like, and this is, you know, who is in charge.
Yeah, it's concerning, to put it to put it lightly. But also, it amazes me how many people don't actually understand the implications.
Yeah, that's
As
the
well.
thing, you know, even if you were, you know, pro-Remain beforehand, staying in the union that goes, hey, you know your internet? Yeah, we were bored, so we banned it.
Yeah,
You want to send a picture, you took that picture of your granddaughter, or like, you know, something like that, and you want to send it to someone? No, you're not allowed to do that now.
yeah.
You know, you wanna upload your like baking recipes on the internet? No, not allowed to do that either. You know, you wanna watch the debate live on YouTube? No, you can't do that. You want access to information that might explain what we've been doing? No, that's very banned.
Yeah.
And it's just so short-sighted. And the people going, oh, people who want to leave a race. It's like, no, I don't want, like, authoritarians just taking things away because they're bored. Because that's pretty much what it's become.
It has, and it's not good. I kind of wish more people actually understood what was going on, because I think a lot of people, if they spent time to try and understand it, would really change their minds.
But you see, it's much easier just to go, but they're racist, and then drop the microphone, because, you know, you're such a good person, and then, you know...
Yeah, have to get the virtue signalling in there.
Yeah, because it's better to look like a good person than, you know, have any idea what the fuck's going on. Like, this way, you know how all the Yellow Vest protests are happening? You know, as soon as Article 13 passes, no one will hear about them.
Yeah.
Because why would they? What's that? You're trying to share media stories? You paid your link tax? What's that? We can, you know, gatekeep it by just deciding now what's illegal and no one will find out because we won't let them find it.
Yeah.
You know, you've got New Zealand just going, we're banning guns because of one, you know, admittedly tragic atrocity. But it's only banning guns for the civilians, you know. Well, the law enforcement, oh yeah, they're definitely allowed to have guns. You know, they've got to stop, you know, the bad guys with the guns. Because, you know, they did such a good job of that, didn't they? Because, you know, even if, like, the 36 minutes that they apparently took to arrive is, you know, legit, and it isn't in fact, but it was 36 minutes till they had been in custody,
Yeah.
and it was 4 minutes till they had someone on the scene, that's, you know, 4 minutes to arrive, 50 people are dead. But private citizens cannot be trusted to have guns, because, you know, criminals won't break the law, guys.
Yeah. That argument's always baffled me.
Yeah. Because think, if there's if a certain amount of your population have guns and are going to use them in a violent fashion, banning the rest of the population from having guns solves nothing. It's like one of the things I saw from America. They're like, you know, active shooter drills is for them to hide.
Yeah.
Because that's, you know, hiding under a desk will definitely deter someone from just, you know, hosing down a room with, like, semi-automatic fire.
Yeah, I've never understood that. Yeah, just hide behind a desk, you'll be fine.
No, it's easy. Like, most of the comments section I saw on that, because this was like an official, like, post by, like, a police department or something, or a school, I forget. And pretty much all the comments were just start throwing chairs at them.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as someone starts fighting back, these people are going to get spooked, because they won't know how to deal with that. Because most people are like that, and if they're properly psychopathic and they're just completely unhinged, then at least you're going to slow them down, and you're not, you know, you've got a better chance. Like, you know, the whole throw a chair through a window and just leave sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, yeah, the whole fight or flight thing, but it's fight or flight, not fight or flight or just sit in the corner and go, ah. You know, like, run away, or go and, you know, return violence.
Yeah.
I'm not saying violence is the solution, but it's a solution.
Yeah, but in that situation, it's a solution that could save your life.
Yeah, it's that whole thing of, do I want to die, or do I want to not die? Because not dying seems like a good idea to me.
Yeah, because, like, surely if you're in that situation, self-preservation for most people is gonna kick in. And surely everything would be screaming at you that, like, hiding under a desk is probably the worst idea you could have.
Yeah. But that's, you know, that's the drill. And from the picture I saw, they had a Nerf gun as their active shoot. And it's just like, and one of the shoots saying, oh, you know, it hurt. And it's just like, right, the article apparently talks about it as if it's airsoft guns, which makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Because an airsoft gun, you know, I know people who've got, like, the Rifts, the replica imitation firearms. I don't have any of those. I have the shiny pretty blue ones because A, less licensing, B, a lot more freedom to do with them. You don't need a special license, you just need to be over 18. I've got a lovely AK, I've got a pistol, and a MP5 that I have for airsofting, and I've shot myself with each of those. Because I consider it, you know, polite. If I'm going to shoot other people with these, even if it's fun, I'm not going to shoot someone that I wouldn't be willing to be shot with.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, it's airsoft guns. Yeah, you can do quite a lot of damage with one of them, but, you know, it's more difficult. But just having the whole, you know, I just hide. It's just like, no. Even with 5.56, which is a really kind of shit caliber, 5.56 is technically against the Geneva Convention. In the ammunition designed to wound.
Yeah.
Ammunition designed to wound is against the Geneva Convention.
I didn't realise that.
Yep. 7.62 is a cartridge designed to kill. So it's fine, because you're not meant to make weapons that are only meant to injure. From what I've seen. I might be talking out of shit, but from what I've seen, that's how it is. And yeah, in like some games where they've got fairly accurate stuff for that, like I was playing Rising Storm last night, I played a couple of rounds as the North Vietnamese with the AKs, and it's just, you know, a single shot is normally enough. But then I'm playing as the South, as the GIs with their M16s, and you're having to put multiple shots into a person to bring them down, unless you get very lucky. And it's just like, you know, that's one game that's fairly, you know, good for historical accuracy, and just, you know, physics and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's evidently a game, and it's not the whole, oh, I was watching the footage and I didn't know it was real, and it's just like, you think a lot of games, or you don't get out much if you thought that, that footage was real. Because I've seen it, most, big chunks at least, 3 times now on Facebook.
Lucky you.
Yeah. Including one of them where it was, I've seen the beginning, where most people have, is bit where he talks about his manifesto, before he actually starts doing anything, and it's PG-ish.
Yeah, I've not watched any of it.
That's it. I saw that in someone's video where they're going, right, this is what this guy says, right at the beginning of his video, that he is literally doing this to cause a civil war, right? He needs to sow division. Why is the media being complicit? That was the reason for showing that bit. And then I've seen, as he's running into, I think, the first mosque, and starts shooting people, I managed to pause it as soon as I went, what's this video? Oh no, I recognise that floor. Pause.
Yeah.
And the second one was as they're shooting the person outside. And people are like, oh, it's fake. I'm like, really? That did not look fake. And it's just like, that also doesn't look like a video game. Because even the most realistic video games I've seen don't look like that. They don't look like someone is, amateurishly filming it on, a GoPro headcam or something. And it's just,
Yeah, because I was thinking about this the other day. I think some of it might be that, people...
Oh yeah, you don't expect to see it, don't get me wrong. But being like, oh, this is clearly video games' fault because people thought it was a video game so they watched it, and it's just like...
Yeah, but with, the people that don't think it's real and that it was staged and stuff. I think part of it is people aren't willing to admit or believe that.
Apparently, there are some incongruities in it.
Oh, are there?
From someone I know who's watched it because they were genuinely curious because they'd heard all these things about conspiracy theorists. They've watched it, to review the footage, and apparently at one point, when they're going into a room, there is already one of his magazines on the floor inside. And he says that really bothers him because he has no idea how it could get there.
Yeah.
I've not seen that bit of footage because I don't want to watch it. I know enough of it to go, yeah, I don't need to see that. But it's, the people who are it's like someone saying, oh, my 27-year-old daughter was traumatized by this, so I, had to go and be a mum. If you're treating your 27-year-old like a child like that, that's kind of odd.
Yes.
It's they're old enough to be a parent themselves, and you're having to go there. Don't worry, the nasty video games can't hurt you.
Yeah, that's concerning.
That's the thing, so many people are blaming video games. That's the thing, I've seen massive chunks of the manifesto, because I know Sargon's been working on the video for it.
Alright.
Basically he's gone through the manifesto and has gone, yeah, the worst part of it is this guy, all the points he makes are valid. The reasons he makes them, not necessarily valid, but everything he says as his actual, serious points, not how, Spyro the Dragon made him an ethno-nationalist. Because that's in there. That's Fortnite taught him to floss on the bodies of his enemies, sort of thing. And it's oh, this is clearly a very serious person. It's no, this is someone who is taking the piss. Which kind of makes it worse.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just they apparently, what they did was, they went on a, they were doing a tour of Europe to, go and, do sightseeing and stuff. And then, they were in France, so they, logically, if you go to Poland, you probably go and see, Auschwitz or whatever. They went to France and saw the fields and fields of graves from the Somme and things. And then they see what France is like now. We've got a society that is just, buckling under the strain of trying to, signal that it's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And it's, they have a problem with that. And, you know, that's their thing, you know. That's his opinion. But you can't say that his opinion is invalid because you disagree with it. You know, this is if you want to find the reason people are doing things, and then you go, well, that reason's clearly not true, then that's not helping.
No.
Not to say that, you know, that you should be listening to this person's opinions, but just saying their opinions are false is not going to help.
Yeah, that always bothers me when people go, well, you know...
Well, it's the whole, you know...
That's your opinion, but you're wrong. And I'm like, that's not how opinions work.
Yeah, it's like the whole, well, you know, like, I have the view of Brexit as a good thing because it gets us out of, you know, another authoritarian state we have very little say over. It's like, well, you're wrong, and it's just like, alright then, I see that this discussion's going to be productive.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, that's the thing, Simon's come through and he's gone, yeah, this is the most annoying part of the whole thing is that it's, the guy makes points that are valid amongst all the, you know, the memes and shit posting.
Yeah.
And, you know, the media will just dismiss this because... That's the thing, like, you know, they picked up on the whole, video games did this, and it's like, that's not what it says. That's not even slightly what it says. The question is, did the internet and video games do this? No. After they, like, you know, go, oh yeah, you know, Fortnite did it. And
yeah,
it's just like,
but
no,
like the
that's
whole
not,
blaming video games for stuff, it's just a convenient excuse, and it has been for like a long time now.
Yeah.
Either video games or, well,
right.
They listen to heavy metal.
Oh yeah, you know, like one of the she was a few years ago. Oh, they listened to The Amazing Atheist. He's clearly at fault. PewDiePie is at fault.
Yeah.
And it's the thing. And as a result, New Zealand have now just, you know, everyone has had their, you know, privilege, I guess, to guns taken away.
Mm.
That's the thing. It's like, oh, it's only semi-automatic weapons. It's like, yeah, that's most of them. Unless you've got a bolt action or like a shotgun, and even they might be viewed as semi-automatic, depending on how it's written. You know, that's like all the people who kind of, you know, have working guns for stuff. You know, there are some things where you do need, you know, guns.
Yeah.
Not many, but
there
you know,
are.
If say you're dealing with the kangaroos that keep, you know, coming in and attacking your livestock, because that's a thing that can happen.
Yeah.
More Australia, but you know, I'm pretty sure they've got a variant of that in New Zealand.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Give them a stern talking to?
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, like, that one of the only things I could think of off the top of my head where, like, a gun could be necessary is, like, farming and that kind of thing.
Yeah. You know, they managed to just go ahead and beat them to death with clubs now. So I mean, that sounds kind of amusing, but at the same time, it's, you know, the whole, like, America's got its, you know, the Second Amendment, and it's just like, well, yeah, it's, you have the right to bear arms. And it's a right in America, it's not a privilege, because they can't take it away.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, in the UK, you know, our privilege to own knives is almost up. You know, they had that Conservative MP who was like, it's very simple, we'll just fit GPS trackers to all of them. As if that'll solve the problem. Because, you know, no one would be so, like, criminal as to just take them out. So, Scalagrim covered that in his video on it, where he's just like, it's these people, right? They're willing to break the law, yeah? Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't they break the law? Just to, you know, break another law, sort of thing. So, people wouldn't break the law. That's illegal. And it's just... That's the thing, it's the let's just attack the populace as a whole to take away more of their rights when they weren't breaking the law, to punish the people who won't even care because they'll still break the law.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's the whole, well, you know, these people in France are protesting, so, you know, we'll just make it now so that we can use live ammunition on them. You know, that's the thing that's been cleared by the French government.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, if they or the people around them feel threatened, they're deploying the army now, and the army are given clearance to use live ammunition. What could go wrong? One person gets an itchy trigger finger, or one person fires by mistake, because that will happen.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you don't even need to shoot anyone. One gunshot from an actual firearm, not like rubber bullets or anything. And yeah, rubber bullets aren't comfy. I've seen the bruises that they leave. But one actual gunshot, and you're not just going to have a protesty riot. You're going to have a riot.
Yeah.
And it, you know, because that's the thing, I've seen clips of the protesters giving as good as they get to the police. Because the thing is, you know, I've seen the clips of, like, the protesters who will get one riot police guy on their own, and they will kick the shit out of them. And that's bad, they shouldn't be doing that. But at the same time, you'll get a dozen riot officers kicking the shit out of someone. And that's equally not good. And all it does is make both sides despise each other more and more.
Yeah.
Until, yeah, now they've got the army involved. And how long is it going to be until... Well, I was going to say there's fatalities, but there's already been 11 deaths as a result of those protests. So it's, you know, sort of, what have they got to lose? Other than, you know, more of them.
It's like, I think, give it a little bit more time, and it's just going to descend into even more chaos, isn't it? And I think, you know, a lot more people are going to get...
Macron is not getting a second term. Like, unless Macron literally goes, elections are banned, he's not getting a second term. Like Theresa May is not getting a second term.
No.
And I'd imagine Corbyn won't get a second term either, because he's not been Remain enough. Despite him being a Leave vote.
Yeah.
You know, he's meant to be the opposite things. I can respect this thing if he's the opposition, he's meant to be, you know, opposing these things. That's understandable. But at the same time... Oof. You know, what is he opposing when he agrees with the government?
Yeah,
you know, Theresa has recently said, you know, well, if they don't vote on my deal, well, we'll just vote to rescind Article 50. And, let's have a look. That was... yesterday I posted that? Theresa May to give MPs vote to vote Article 50 and cancel Brexit. And if that happens, then, oof.
But that sounds like, oh, well, if you're not going to do it my way, we won't do it at all.
Like, literally that's it. And it's, you know, how do I democracy?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, you know, but it was just an advisory vote, it wasn't, you know, legally binding. It's just like, alright then. Cool. Then, why did, you know, why bother, sort of thing? If the government's answer to, well, you voted, but it's not a good look.
No, it really, really isn't. And like, it's taken so long. And
it's nearly 3 years to achieve nothing so far. We have the surrender deal, and we have no deal, and no deal is off the cards because the EU don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's... I think both May and Corbyn have come out and just said, we're not doing that because the EU don't want us to. To which the answer is, well, who are you negotiating for then? You know, I wasn't, like... You know, my reasons for Brexit are, you know, are not even covered by any of the, like, current arguments or debates. Mine was just, this bureaucracy is shit. Let's, you know, let's not do this. And it wasn't, you know, nothing, like, political or even economic. It was just, This is just bollocks.
Yeah.
And now it's the actual political argument of, how are these guys this incompetent? You know, I'd rather have our own incompetence than someone else's incompetence as well. But at this point, I'd rather just have no incompetence. But that's not an option.
But it's like, it's getting to the point where I'm like, so why did we bother voting on like the referendum in the first place?
Oh yeah, but that's fine, because they've got like a free 4 million, I think, petition to revoke Article 50, and I can guarantee you that'll go through the Commons. They'll be like, well, the people back it.
Yeah.
They will use that as their bargaining chip of reasoning why. I wouldn't guarantee it, but I would be pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, I can imagine it will end up being referenced at least.
Oh yeah, you know. Well, you know, the people have decided. It's just like, fuck off, have they? You know, oh, you know, Leave haven't had these massive protests, and it's like, they're going to. They've got theirs planned. I've seen some plans for it, and it's going to be on the 29th when that's going to happen. Yes, thing is, going all Cromwell wouldn't help because we quite like the Queen. Also, you know, I think we're at least we were on fairly good terms with Ireland.
We were. How long that's going to last now?
Oh yeah, because the DUP are getting thrown under the bus repeatedly, to the point of I'm pretty sure they've just got a conveyor that throws them back under once they've got out the first time. It's that, well, you know, we can't agree on a nice, you know, backstop with Northern Ireland, so I guess we just won't bother anymore. No, they'll just have to fend for themselves. And it's like, hey, you know how you have political allies? Yeah. Maybe you should try and keep them as allies. What is this nonsense? Having allies. God. It's such a shambles. And people are like, oh, you know, Jacob Rees-Mogg's just gonna, you know, he's gonna make money off of this, and it's just like, okay. He's an investment banker to some degree, you know. A lot of his money's from investments. Part of me just thinks, is it that you actually don't like capitalism, or is it you're just jealous that he is a successful person? Because that's what some of the arguments I've seen against him is. It's like, oh, you know, look at all these like politicians lining their pockets off of Brexit. And it's just like, yeah, find me one that isn't.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee all of them have been, you know, paid by lobbying groups to some degree. You know, I can pretty much guarantee Theresa May's got a very cosy retirement deal planned with the EU.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was thinking, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, because, you know, self-interest is a good motivator.
It really is.
I'm not saying it should be,
but you know, that's kind of how a lot of humanity works.
Yeah. And trying to, you know, stop that is not going to achieve much. Oh, you know, we need to get the money out of politics. Yeah, we really should. But, you know, that would mean that you would only get politicians... I'm not sure, Oak Native, but I know there was the MP for... where was it? Somewhere in Shropshire. Wrexham was the one who goes, I thought this was a democratic vote. I thought you meant to represent us. To which they replied, you thought wrong.
Oh, I remember hearing about that.
And it's just like, oh dear. What even are optics? And that's the thing. It's just motivating me more and more to just go, I have no real interest in... because, you know, a lot of the sort of views on it are, when I say I am not going to be voting for Labour or the Conservatives until they get their shit together, is you've got to look at, you know, the local stuff, and it's like, yeah, I can look at the local stuff, and locally, Labour, fucking great. My town, for the most part, very few homeless people that are just, you know, reliably around, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've got best public transport in the country. It's very clean, you know, they're all very, you know, it's very well maintained. I don't believe the council tax is too high. I'm not certain, because it goes off my rent. I don't pay it separately. And, yeah. It's all good. The thing is, though, if I vote for Labour locally, that's good. I get Labour locally, and they do a good job here. Yeah. Better than the Conservatives do where my parents live, to be honest. Much better. But that's the thing, that's a town compared to a village. So, you know, obviously the town's going to get more interest. Anyway, having a Labour person locally, though, it's good locally, but nationally, it means you get the party that want to seize the means of production. And want to nationalise everything and spend billions of pounds we don't have on stuff we don't need, that won't make us any money. Because that's the thing, they want to buy the trains. It's like, okay, you know that trains don't actually make a lot of money, right? It's just a delivery service. It's like the Royal Mail. It's not meant to be a big money maker. You know.
No, it's a
that's kind of... And they've already nationalised the postal service. No, that's right. They've privatised the postal service. And I know it's a different government that's done that, but it's still... Buy back the Royal Mail, then. And start there and work upwards. Because that's the thing. The railways are worth, in infrastructure and all the assets, billions and billions of pounds. There's so much of it. From what I've seen from new stock that's being introduced, they're going to need 35 miles of sidings to store all the stuff that's going out of use.
Wow.
Just the stuff that's going out of use. 35 miles of trains.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah. Admittedly, quite a lot of those are quite long trains that are being replaced. The HSTs form, which is a big shame, but the HSTs have been around for so long, and it's a shame they're being replaced with less inferior products. But either way, do you know how much they earn each year, approximately? I think it's about 20 billion.
Yeah.
So, it would take, like, 20 years to pay for themselves. Which is not that long a time in politics. Well, national politics, anyway. But in that time, all the investment that needs to go into them, and, you know, all the subsidies and everything that they now don't have to pay for, they're now not, you know, there's no competition anymore. You know, they'd be running the show again. And last time they were running the show, it didn't exactly work very well. And yeah, the trains are expensive, but that's because it's the system in place for the rail network is so expensive. Because you have things like the fining system, where I think it's £1,000 a minute, or £250 a minute for delays caused.
Okay.
Now, say you have a train, right, and someone is, you know, say someone rushes into the doors, and they've got, you know, and they delay the train by a minute, by, you know, jumping on at the last minute, getting their bag stuck in the door, or something like that, right? That minute, now, because the network is almost at capacity, that might delay 10, 20 trains behind it. For a minute each, minimum. So that's suddenly £20,000. And that's a lot of different ones. Hello, Omegon.
What is going on here?
Discussing the lunacy of the current parties and the fact that you can't...
Are you streaming right now?
Yes.
Right, hello. Sorry about the audio.
Don't worry.
I did notice you were here virtually all day today.
Yeah. I was talking,
you guys.
There were lots of people here earlier.
I saw. I was chatting with Ash in DMs, so it was easier for me to just message people and telling Penny how to fix her hands.
Oh, what? Because they're so tiny?
No, because they're really sore from tearing down a shed, so I told her to soak them in hot water for an hour, which worked. I did point out there are only 2 muscles in the hand, and she didn't realise, because she was trying to indicate all the muscles hurt. I was like, well, there's only 2. And they're in the palm, they're not in the fingers.
Yeah,
it's tendons.
It's tendons, isn't it? Yeah.
It's tendons. And her tendons were hurting. Like, okay, well, if it's lactic acid builds up and they're tight, just go soak. Get the lactic acid out and you'll be fine. do some clenches.
Yeah, no, it's the just going a quick run through of the political situation and the fact that there really isn't one.
I know. The protest stuff is amusing because the first thought that came into my head when I saw the supposed 1 million plus people marching was, wow, you Ramonas are very persistent, aren't you? Notice how the Leavers are at work, because, you know, they did...
It is a weekend, though. But...
Well, that too. But they're at work or on the dole, you know, because they're uneducated oiks. And, yeah.
Also, the Leavers protest is planned for the 29th.
No, that's not a protest, that's a celebration. Because if the deal doesn't get through on the 29th, we leave.
Unless Theresa May gets her plan through of
That's
simply revoking Article 50.
Okay, so she can't do that. Yes, the government can do it, but she can't do it because she's already said she won't do it because that would defeat
there you
what.
go, Overgone, believing what a politician said.
That's your first.
Let me finish. So she has outright stated she won't do it because of the 17.4 million people. She also won't do it because the Conservatives would lose over 100 seats. They would lose them. They would lose them to Farage's party, that new party he's working on.
Okay, that party
And the Conservatives can't do that. Conservatives can't do that. Well, the Brexit only started because they were at risk of losing 20 seats. So the point is that with if she doesn't do it, that she will lose. Her party won't just lose the majority; they won't be the biggest. Hang on, they won't be the biggest party. They'll have to form a coalition, and they won't be able to do it. Therefore, the only legitimate major party left would be Labour. Therefore, she has to do it. And I point out, Labour may want to vote majority towards revoking, but if they do it as well, they will also lose over 100 seats. Because don't forget here, while the majority of MPs want to remain, those that vote remain when their constituencies voted leave will lose their seats. They will be deselected by the constituency.
This conversation... Sorry.
Go on, carry on.
You cut out for a second, I thought you were done, sorry. But no, this conversation started with the whole, tomorrow, Article 13 comes into effect, probably. And then the internet turns off. So, yeah, no, it's a thing of, will the MPs stick with the side of the, you know, the correct side of history, or the side that might get them re-elected?
Well, it's a case of, if they vote Theresa's deal through, there'll be an extension to May 22nd. If they don't, they only have a couple of days to negotiate or to debate and vote on what happens next.
Yeah.
There are about 7 different options, and if they vote to revoke Article 50 or have a second referendum, they will lose again. If they revoke Article 50, they will lose seats, hundreds of seats, to a new party.
Yeah.
And that
They
would be
will
for...
hang on until the next election, though.
No, they wouldn't. No, they really
Unless
wouldn't.
the MPs defect.
Some will, but no, the Parliament would have to call for another general election, because this would be a constitutional nightmare. If you go against the will of the people, you are no longer fit to stand for office.
That's if the Parliament still stands at that point.
That's the point. If they don't call for an immediate general election, then they will lose the Parliament because of what happened next, and that would be the
DUP will immediately go, fuck you, bye.
Think about all the hell the other vest stuff has caused in France. Yeah. Now the moaning Brit. Now think of the moaning uneducated Brits. It would be far worse to be football hooligans.
Yeah. I remember the protests outside of Parliament not too long ago. I forget what it was even for, but you had, you know, a bunch of the sort of, I guess, as the media would refer to them, football hooligan types climbing the gates of Parliament. And the police are just standing there going,
The police won't be able to do shit at that point.
Well, the police already don't do shit. Like, you know, I
That's the
put
point.
an article in your thing earlier. There's someone
saw
who has 70, like, they've had 70 cautions.
I know, I saw
the
it.
71st put them in prison. And it's just like...
I would argue individual circumstances. I do get the point. The police, to add to the point, though, would be that the police won't be able to do anything because they don't have the numbers. Simply put, they don't have resources. Yes, they might put them around the politicians, but the politicians they'll be destroyed. Some will undoubtedly want to kill themselves by the time the people are done with.
Yeah.
I'm not promoting that. I'm saying that will happen because they aren't doing what the people voted them in to do. The moment you do self-serving politics as opposed to the politics of your constituency, you are going to lose. Therefore, Article 50 being revoked cannot happen.
Yeah.
So maybe March 29th, if no deal's there, then we leave with no deal. And is that Friday?
Yes.
I'm Euro trucking
this week.
I
it's going to be
may.
a fun one. So we've got Article 13 and 17, and we got Article 50.
Articles 11 and 13, isn't it?
11 and 13?
11 and 13 are the copyright things.
Yeah.
Not 17. I might switch Eurotruck to Thursday then and talk to Traps and move our stream from Thursday to Friday, because I think that would be more appropriate, because 29th will be very interesting. I'll talk to him about that, because I don't think he'd mind. Since we haven't had daylight savings yet, he doesn't really give a shit. Whereas he has had daylight savings. Hello, person who appeared and then disappeared.
Dramatic Penguin.
Okay. I might disappear upstairs and relocate to my microphone so you can hear me properly then. Don't cut out.
You're fine.
No, the shit audio and everything. We'll be back in a minute.
Oh, okay. But, yeah. Yes, I see your Cromwell plan there in the chat, okay. But, no, it's the thing of, if the Parliament do decide to just go fuck the will of the people, then I'd imagine the will of the people is going to be significantly bigger than the amount of politicians they have. The thing is, if it comes to that, it's going to be, you know, it will be the overcompensation. It won't just be fuck those specific politicians that voted, you know, in favour of all of this horse shit. It will be fuck the politicians, full stop.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, like the whole sort of, I guess, extremist response of this specific group of people, or these specific individuals as part of this group of people, have offended me in some fashion, therefore a miscellaneous amount of them are going to suffer as a result. It's like the whole, you know, like the people who were like, oh, you know, the Manchester Arena bombings happened, therefore I'm gonna drive, like, a van into a mosque at the other end of the country.
Yeah.
And it's like, see, that's not how you deal with that problem. Mainly because, I'm pretty... Didn't the Manchester Arena bombers survive as well? Because they weren't suicide bombing. They literally just...
If I remember rightly, yeah, it was.
And
the
at that
equivalent.
point, that's not, you know, that's not how you solve the problem. You just make the problem different.
Yeah, but the problem is the way some people's minds work is like, well, you're bad, so anyone else like you must also be bad.
Who's bad?
Whereas the thing of the discussion of if it does come to, like, violent uprising, if the government literally decides to, you know, commit political hostabath, then it won't just be the politicians that will be, you know, that were responsible for it that will get reacted against. It will be the politicians.
What's the name of the Japanese practice of killing yourself?
Seppuku.
Thank you, that too.
Normally called Sudoku by...
Right, so when they go and commit Sudoku, congratulations to them. I hope they get jobs in the near future. No, I don't. They won't either, because no one want to hire people that are utterly toxic to their businesses.
Yeah.
Except for Poundland, Sports Direct, and maybe...
No, Poundland actually have quite high standards.
I know. I had a Christmas job with them once.
Yeah. They pay really well as well, apparently, from what I've seen. Like,
They
I think it's
do.
like £2 above the minimum wage, which is decent.
Yeah.
It was good Christmas job. Don't get staff discount.
You don't need a staff discount when you work at Poundland.
You always need a staff discount. Doesn't matter where you work.
And I've had to refresh my stream again because it crashed. Not on the export end, just on the YouTube end.
Is YouTube? Is the capture thing working?
No, it's
better?
actually just the playback crashes.
No, what I mean is the is
But it's been green light the whole time from what I've seen.
from window capture.
I think I've got it on game capture still.
Oh, that's interesting.
I say
Okay,
it's
I've got
Factorio, it's not very heavy.
That's handy. Are we still up for 7 days tonight?
Yeah. I was going to go on early and try and get it advanced to a Blood Moon 4 so I could try and get my my house finished.
That'd be kind of cool to do that, because then I can either find my way back to you or just try and survive a blood moon. See what happens, I guess. I've got Penny making a new thumbnail for next weekend.
Oh yeah, should
with-
message me asking what my
Have a, yeah,
my
she-
character like.
I'll
I was like,
yeah, you don't really have, yeah.
I have
Oh.
my orc, which is just sort of
Well,
based on my actual LARP gear for when I go and do Urukaying.
has she sent it to you, Joe?
Nope.
The sketch. I'll DM it to you now then.
Okay, cool.
And I'll DM it to Skog before he gets a chance to see it. It's just a sketch.
Okay,
So there you go, you've got the image.
I'll have a look.
You getting raped, Disc and I running away, and me sat on a pile of bodies drinking tea with a crown. It looks like you're being pressed up against a wall and raped.
Does a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's a stop and search. That's what it is. They're cops.
It's fine. It'll take them another 30 goes before they'll arrest me.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, say seeing one of the people that was arrested, it was only because of the public outcry, because they were in a a viral video of guy attacks car with knife.
Oh yeah, that guy. He from what I remember, because I did a video on it, what he'd done to avoid prison. Basically, he attacked the car because the people inside had actually held him hostage because somebody he knew, a friend of his, owed them money. So he was held guilty by association by them and forced to sell cocaine and make cocaine and stuff. What he did was he gave the police information afterwards about the gang in question.
Plea deal.
He made a deal. He gave them information that led to about 12 convictions. So his deal was the valid one. I'm okay with that. And the reason he attacked him with a knife was because they'd held him hostage and threatened to kill his family. I kind of got it. At the same time, I don't accept it because the knife is fucking brutal. It's a zombie knife. Fuck off.
Yeah.
But I kind of get it at the same time.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like,
At least in that instance,
it's
he did
not
something.
good optics still.
Oh, it's
Or-
not. But
Well,
One's on
this guy like
situation.
attacked a car with a knife. Well, we had to do something about him. It's just like,
I do think
if
he should
if
have.
having a knife is a crime, then
I do
something.
think it wasn't just an ordinary knife, of course, but I still think if they'd given
Oh yeah,
him.
it's a fucking status symbol. It's not actually any more
Yeah.
effective as a knife. In fact, it's less effective as a knife because you're in the metal shit. All the holes in it make them really weak.
Yeah.
The holes. I don't understand it.
Sorry, I follow a knife channel who was just like, okay, I got one of these knives. They're fucking awful.
The whole thing, it's an old thing. Like, do you remember Robot Wars Razor? The holes were there to make it lighter,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because that was a weight classification thing.
incredibly heavy. But
And
I think
also it's got a big triangular blade. It's
yes, it was my favorite. The zombie knife is highly impractical.
Yeah.
It's a one hit wonder at best.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't work well for prolonged use. And I say this as somebody whose stepdad and mother were cobblers. The blades they used, you could cut a body up with those because
Oh,
you
I-
sharpen them manually.
got
To the point where the
woodworking
blades, they
knives.
look like those knives when you sharpen them. You keep them for decades, and the blade erodes away obviously over time. But they are so sharp. I could just I wouldn't have to push my finger on the blade, and it would already have cut halfway through my thumb.
Yeah.
Because they are just... Oh,
I
they
have
are...
some very good leatherworking knives.
Yeah, that's what they're for, and it's perfect.
So I think the only thing that, like, any use for those zombie knives is some of them look quite cool, so to kind of display them. Apart from that, they're kind of...
Hello.
Hello. I might use a
live on
zombie
YouTube.
knife. Or, I might use a zombie... I'd probably just use a zombie knife for my steak. If my steak came from Tesco's recycle bin. Because I can't see any other use for it, really. I wouldn't even want to display it, because, say, in self-defense, it just doesn't... No. Fuck off, it's trash.
Is it condemn or condone? The thing where I don't agree with Oak Native in the chat. However, you make a good point, but I probably shouldn't.
Hang on, let me read it. Which one?
You can cut up a body with a paring knife straight from the factory packaging. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, it's great those knives are that good, but I'd rather not.
I got one of those, and you can't even cut fucking vegetables with it because the blade's too triangular.
There are those, is that what the...
nice flat-bladed IKEA one.
The paring knife, is that the one with the 3 blades that spirals around a shaft?
No.
Because there's a blade like that, has like 3 blades on it, and it spirals around a blade. And it's known as an absolute. It's known as a kill. It will kill you because the way it works, you put it in and twist, and it will tear everything in.
It's a triangular blade. That's like a bayonet.
No, it's a different type. There is a knife.
They've got a special name, haven't they?
They have, and when they go in, they cut everything.
Oh yeah, there's. I say you can get. That's why. Well, it used to be that back in predominantly sort of World War One-ish times. Before then, bayonets had triangular blades on them because you cannot stop the bleeding from a triangular wound.
That's actually where these come from. So, but it's not called that. It's got another name, and they are. Hospitals can't treat them because there's other damage done.
Yep, that's why they're banned under the Geneva Convention. You cannot use those kind of blades in warfare.
It's okay. Butter knives will be on that.
Butter knives are legal.
At this rate, people are just going to start fighting with...
I'm just going to say, if I have to cut a proper steak up, I've got more chance of using a butter knife to do a better job than a fucking zombie knife.
Oak Native is in the chat, the paring knife is the... paring knife is the vegetable knife, and the one that Omegon is thinking about is apparently the M48 Cyclone.
Don't think that's the name I've heard, but yes, let's have a look.
Either way,
that is that is it. Yep, it is that.
I just say you should not be using knives against living people. Or against dead people.
I know what it's called. No, it's got a different name. Well, it's not a different name. It's the extended name. Tri-edged spiraling dagger. That's what it's called.
Which sounds quite metal.
It does.
Yeah.
If I start a band, I'm going to call it that. It's going to be a shit band, though.
I don't know, Spiraling Dagger sounds a bit like a power metal band name.
Oh, it's going to be a great band then.
Dragon Farce.
They have a new album coming out this year.
Oh. Yeah, no, that's... It'll be very interesting to see how the weekend goes. Because I'd imagine they're just going to keep delaying Brexit and delay it until eventually people just go, fine. At which point none of them will get elected again, but they just...
I've told you, they have no choice. They either vote her deal through or no deal happens. They can try and do all the other things on that list, but it won't work. It cannot work because they will all be committing Sudoku.
Oh yeah, but just because, the politicians want to do it doesn't mean,
Yeah, this is where their own interests will no longer work. It is that simple. You can be self-serving only so far, and unfortunately for them, they do it. They're fucked.
Yeah, it's just a thing of, as it stands at least, there is a whole mess of just the infighting, the in-dealing, you know, all the sort of sketchy bullshit that's surrounding it. And it's a case of, you know, I have on several occasions just been like, where's that Monty Python meme?
Well, it just kind of reminds me a little bit of, you know how like at school and that you get different like cliques of kids?
Yep.
That's what it's like. It's just like playground tactics at the moment, isn't it?
I hated those because I was never in any of them.
I was once briefly. It was a mistake.
Did you get voted out for being the weakest link, perhaps?
No, but I had the apparent reputation for being the nice person that you could, like, you know, throw the new people at to, like, get them settled in, rather than people who would throw them at me dealing with it themselves. And yes, they would regularly replace me.
That's unfortunate.
That's not very nice.
Eh. I don't think that was a requirement. But,
I don't know, I was just mostly always like the weirdo goth type at school. Who people thought shouting goth at was some kind of insult.
It's not.
Boss wanker.
I learned something new today.
But no, it's just yeah, the article. It's just the spiral of when you start at Article 13 and work backwards from how did this come up? Oh yes, that's why. That's it. I'm looking forward to you know, getting the carrier pigeon with my subscription to Candankula in it, on his take on the events. I'd imagine there'll be a lot of people buying VPNs in the next 3 days.
On Twitter, he put out that he was considering running for an EU MEP, which
yeah.
I think
I know Simon is as well.
I quote retweeted it as, based on what's currently going on, do it, you fucking faggot.
I was thinking, from what I've seen, they're going to, and they're probably going to win. Because UKIP are prepared to have this person in every single one of the seats, which is just good business, to be honest. You know, even if you don't agree with the party, they're at least...
If you can't trust a major party, or the major parties to act in your interests, then you will again protest vote, because you cannot trust them. Therefore, you know, Liberal Democrats, Conservatives, Labour, they will lose seats.
Oh, yeah. Well, that implies that people would vote for Liberal Democrats anyway.
I think they have one MEP.
Remember when they used to have the student vote?
I was at uni at the time, and I told all my friends they shouldn't vote for them because they'll just stab them back.
What is it? £32,000 more debt I think I got for that?
I wouldn't know. I paid the lower end.
No, not 32. £24,000 more debt I got as a result.
I would feel sorry for you, but I'm busy sitting on my little throne of no student debt.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't made out of tin foil from Chinese takeaways I'd scrambled out of bins.
So I'm looking forward to when I can start paying mine off, to be honest, but...
Right.
Not until I can, you know, work...
I'll be honest, there are people I went to uni with who obviously paid the lower amount, that to this day still don't earn enough to pay theirs back. Because they didn't have aspiration. They didn't have any, you know, they just wanted a minimum wage job and they could sit back and not give a shit. Because then it gets written off after a certain amount of time anyway.
It used to.
They did.
They privatised the students' loan company.
Yeah, but unfortunately those who fell in the other bracket are fine.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to my indeterminate amount of debt. I think last time I looked at it, it had gone up to 50 grand.
Oh.
Like 55 or something. Because that's the thing, it starts gaining interest as soon as you start the loan, not when you finish uni. Which is not what it was advertised to me as, but you know...
No, they were advertised as interest-free until you earn a certain amount and start paying it back. That's how
that's complete bollocks now, anyway.
It is now, but... Yeah.
I had so many of my teachers said, oh, you know, you should go to uni, you know, it's the best thing to do, you know, you can get a good job from it. And it's just like, you know what, I've got a better job for me working as a house maintenance person, and then in my free time making model trains. The only way I can see having a better job of that is if it was full-time making model trains.
I think I've lucked out with YouTube. To be honest, that's kind of made it so I don't have to think too much about money anymore.
Yeah.
But, other than that, I was struggling as just a cleaner.
Is it wrong for me to say I lucked out and I've got Ed?
No, it's absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with having good luck. Wouldn't begrudge someone else who had it gets it a little easier, but you still do have to go to the rather invasive and annoying meeting things for your disability things.
Oh yeah, I've got another one of them coming up soon, probably.
I know. I figured you'd have them every 6 months, I believe.
No, I'm quite lucky. Mine's every 10 years for my PIP.
Oh, okay. So that's not so
no,
bad.
they've decided I need to be reassessed for ESA.
I'm looking forward to finding out that I can possibly get that if they decide that my chest problem is bad enough, and then taking it away again.
I hope you qualify. I really do.
That's the thing. If I did qualify, it wouldn't change anything because I'd still want to keep my job. It would just mean that I would be less reliant on my job as my sole source of income.
Well, with PIP, you can still work, I think, because it's
You
disability
can.
living
You
allowance.
can, but you have to declare everything you earn.
Yeah, which would get difficult.
Because it's meant to help, with expenses for travelling to work and.
Yeah, which job seekers used to do that? Oh, this is meant for you to go find work with. Okay, so what do I live on? Cunts.
You don't need to live. Living's outdated.
Well, now I know. But before then, it was like, what's the fucking point of this shit?
Apparently Discnar did a stupid thing. Hello, Discnar. What was this thing?
What have you done now,
Who was
Disc?
this thing?
Did you take the flat that you turned down, or did you turn down the flat and realise it's actually better? Or what? Did you go and fuck a hooker?
Did you turn down the flat only to discover you have now been struck off the list?
Yeah, if you reject too many, they do that.
I think this first one he's seen, though.
It's a very.
You get 3, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 3.
That
As far as
seems like
my
a very.
My sisters had this same problem until my younger sister bought this house, and then they could move in here. Now they don't have to think about that because rejecting the properties around here are trash.
That's the thing.
Same
They
here.
can just use it as a way of unloading the really shit ones on the grounds of people can't say no.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of one of the things my sisters had problem with was that people left homes in unbearably difficult conditions, so they would then end up renovating them so that they were then livable, but then be moved again, which is silly.
Yeah, 'cause I know,
But it's one of those consequences, really.
Because I know from talking to Viper that she basically needs to renovate most of her place.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
And it's like, I'm happy to help you, but at the same time, for what from what I vaguely know of you paying as a rent, it kind of takes the piss a bit that
I know.
maintenance like that isn't. Because the thing, I'm not saying it should be like, because the thing, all the houses I work in, they get painted every 2-3 years if it needs it. Occasionally patching up if it's required.
Disconnect posted a comment in part of the 5 million voters on Twitter. Basically, he got involved in something that he really shouldn't have because it just gets the salty people going.
I sometimes do that for fun and then log off Twitter for the night.
I do that sometimes as well, but I don't need to log off. I just turn it off. I just turn the browser off.
Sounds like the equivalent of poking the bear, running away, and letting it attack everyone else.
I don't need to outrun the bear, I just need to outrun you, so I'm going to break your knees.
Yeah.
But there's just... Yeah, no, let's start with Article 13, it just being a really good way of just killing off the internet as people know it. And it's just devolved into, well, just kind of fuck the government in general.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, no one is really surprised.
Nope.
But that's the thing, like, who can you vote for? So you've got the Labour Party that are voting firmly against their elected representatives against their electives. You've got the Conservative Party doing the same thing. You've got the Lib Dems going, hey guys, there's still time, we can get this repealed and not even do it at all. You've got the Green Party being irrelevant and hating fun.
You've got the independent group also wanting to do what the Lib Dems want to do.
Yeah. The independent group, who ironically don't want to be independent.
Yeah, there's an irony to that. much like the SNP
I saw
rejoin
one
another
that
union.
I think Tail Feature had retweeted, which was Scottish people. If we had left the UK to be independent, should we use the euro or not? It's just like, do you not know what independent means? Because I kind of feel bad for you.
They don't. It's quite tragic.
I have finished all my researches. That explains why nothing had been happening for a while. That research. Oh, that's an expensive one. I want to get nuclear power. How do I get nuclear power?
Yeah, I'm going to disappear and make sandwiches. See you all later.
Have
Catch you
fun.
later.
There's nuclear power. What do I need to make the Covrex? Oh, I just need rocket fuel to make Covrex. Nice. Let's do that. And improve my lasers. And my weapons. And that one. And that one. There we go. No, it's just... There's the thing of, you need to vote for one of the two major parties. And it's like, why? Who do they represent? Themselves? I know I posted... I think I posted something about the last election. I had to go through my Facebook to find something ages ago because I couldn't remember the exact date the thing had happened. And it was, I'm not going to be voting for either of the major parties this election, ask me anything sort of thing. And people are like, oh, you can't do that, you've got to vote for one of the major parties, otherwise you're throwing your vote away. And it's like, no. That's wrong. Hello, Discord.
Hello.
And people are like, oh, I can't believe you'd even consider voting for UKIP. It's like, well, locally they're the best party.
Yep,
Like,
I had exactly
you
the same
know.
thing. So many arguments
And
with
it's
people
just like,
over it.
if you actually read the manifestos of the parties, or watch a video of someone going through the manifestos and making it a bit more interesting, to be honest, because I know Dankula did that with all the ones in his area, and I looked through the other ones, and most of them had national things. Some of the parties had local ones, because the local parties generally tend to go for the, hey, we know we're not going to win on a big scale, so fuck all that noise, we're going to concentrate on the local issues, and it works, because you go, these people want to, concentrate on local issues first, get them solved before we add more issues on top. How is this controversial, sort of thing?
Yeah, it's like I always feel a bit sorry for like any of the local candidates where I am, because since this constituency was formed, it's been Conservative, and it's got no chance of ever being anything else. But like our MP is rubbish.
Oh yeah, well,
Our MP is Philip Hammond.
really?
Really?
Wow. I'm trying to remember which one's Corbyn's, because I know Diane Abbott's Hackney.
I think that's called, it's, Unlucky Town.
He's all got it easy. Last time it was Amber that was ours.
So with those ones, that there's, seemingly at least, very little, I guess, competition in that part of the capital. Because, I mean, I'm not trying to be like a dickhead here, but if Diane Abbott is the best you can do, what the fuck are the other candidates like?
Yeah. Because Theresa May is like Maidenhead and stuff.
Yeah, because I know Lord Buckethead ran against them. And everyone's like, haha, it's someone who's actually got a sense. No, he doesn't have a sense of humour. He's just a socialist who wears a bucket on his head and goes for memes. And it's just like... You found out very quickly that he wasn't, trying to be something different like the Monster in Lunar Pies. He's just really hates Theresa May. And it's just like, okay, that's not a political, standpoint, sadly. Not liking the other party is not a political position.
Let's face it though, if they stand up now and do it, they probably would actually get some headway. because
yeah,
a
but if
lot of
Lord
people.
Buckethead had been in charge, it would have been, well, Brexit's not going to happen. That's dumb.
No, I just mean as in like, you know, if they actually did it now, it'd probably get some headway because the fact that so many people are going, they fucking hate me.
Oh yeah, I'd say if anything,
Corbyn's Islington, isn't he?
Islington, right? I have no idea what Islington's like as a. Well, presumably it's a very strong Labour place. Although, didn't a bunch of them nearly get unseated last election?
Yeah, I think so, if I remember rightly.
It's just that thing of, you know, the kind of establishment politics have very much falling out of favour. Because people are just kind of sick of the nothing that happens. And it's just sort of like, yeah, I can get why people are, you know, disenfranchised. But because the other thing that a lot of people, especially all the student people that I knew who were very hard leftists, were going, well, it's not really like 54% who voted for Brexit. It's only, you know, 31% or so voted for Brexit because loads of people just didn't vote and they're clearly on the side of Remain. And it's just like,
What?
are you listening to yourself?
Where did that logic come from?
I'm assuming some.
Their ass.
Yeah.
Drug.
It's just when you've got people going, people couldn't vote for this unless, you know, like the whole, if you voted for Brexit, it's clearly because you're a racist, and for no other possible reasons. We're not going to, you know, even like contemplate that people might have had different reasons.
So I had a look at the you know, I keep on saying this about, you know, the million person march or whatever the fucking shit it was.
Oh yeah, it's like a
and all
there's
that.
probably a few 100,000, but some of the
I
pictures
don't know,
of the
but I
Queen's
was-
Jubilee, and people are taking the shit out of them for that one, being like, look, just if you're gonna lie, at least lie convincingly.
But
It
no,
just
I've been,
makes you look
because of it, I've been looking at you know, like it's like you know, it shows like the maps of where, you know, who voted, you know, like majority in which place, blah blah blah. And if you got the, you know, Britain, and you remove Scotland, London, it's basically
Oh, it's hard.
everything.
Yeah, it's all the metropolitan areas voted to remain. I've seen.
It's
it.
like,
And it's
and
like,
then you get these people who, you know, who are saying about, you know, revoking Article 15. Oh yeah, the people's vote, the people.
Yeah,
Bitch,
the people get
please.
talked.
Basically,
like, personally,
you know,
the farm where one of my games I've been to runs, I think it's Empire, it's somewhere near Silverstone, right? We had to move a massive chunk of the camp at one point between events because, to quote, if they didn't plant anything on the field, EU legislation meant that they could not plant anything on that field again because it had been dormant for too long and it had now become a nature reserve.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So you're not allowed farmland basically if you've done, like, if you don't use your farmland despite the fact that you own it, you can't use it. So basically they have most likely, I don't know what they're going to do. This, like, I've not been for 2 years, but the main field they're on, I'm guessing will have to have moved, unless they're willing to just give up that field for crops. Because, you know, it's got loads of roads built into it now and stuff, like wood chip ones. And unless, you know, that all gets ploughed into the soil, that's, you know, it's got to go somewhere, and presumably, and like the whole legislation stuff, it's just, it's, you know, it's one of those things of, oh, you know, I can see why they do that. You know, if the land's not being used, then it makes sense that, you know, it's used for, like, you know, preserving creatures and stuff. That's the point. And then you go, yeah, but that's land that someone owns, and they're a farmer. You know, it's the whole, you can do this, but only if we say you can. And, you know, the whole, you know, but the EU gives us money back each year, and it's like, yes, and they tell
money
us
that
what we can
we
spend it on, and
yeah, and
that's
it's
like
money
going,
that we
okay,
probably gave them.
£5, right, now you can use this £5 that I'm giving you no, sorry, we can use this £3 I'm giving you to go and buy yourself an ice cream. It's like, okay, you've taken £5 from me and you're giving me £3 to buy an ice cream. I kind of see that there might be some problems here. And yet that's very simplistic, and I know, but it's...
It's true.
Yeah, and it's... Because I think that, like the lottery funding stuff, you know, it does do good things. But saying that's the result of the EU is a bit like saying, well, you know, like that polar bear, like having torn that person in half, and as they, you know, the rescue teams found a rare flower next to the body. You know, they thought that flower was extinct. See, the bear has helped us find this rare flower. And it's like, but did it though?
Or was it the person?
Oh, it's that.
That's a really, that's not a generous example. Like,
no, there's a Latin term for it. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. That, you know, correlation, causation thingy.
I know, it's just the whole...
I've had no replies to my tweets. This is amazing.
I've got last time I looked, I had quite a few in relation to my one of,
Well, I responded to someone called Caitlin Moran. She's all verified.
Well, okay, I've got a fair amount of tweets in these ones. So,
it's like she's put in there the petition. Yeah, it's like she's headed this thread, so 138 responses and blah blah. She put, you know, the petition's about to hit 5 million. Notably fewer people going, ha ha ha, tell me when it hits 17 million now. And, you know, obviously a lot of people are going, yeah, ha 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 ha, yeah, where are they, ha ha ha. So I just put, you know, I normally keep out of these, but it's taken 5 days to get 5 million signatures, and you expect a quick change, and 17.4 million voted in 1 day, and it's taken 2.5 years to get the shit show that we have today, which we never voted for. You voted out, not shady backdoor deals. I think that's kind of, it must be at least some way, shape or form kind of provoking, isn't it? Or is it just too sensible?
People will be like, this is someone trying to be provocative, ban them.
Yeah, where do they leave?
I have had people say, you know, block, like, mute and block this person, they're clearly just a Russian bot, and it's just like, alright then, apparently I'm a Russian bot, despite the fact that there is evidence that's come to light that showed that Russia was in fact in favour of the Democratic Party, and were colluding on their behalf. Which is awfully inconvenient for the narrative, especially after the Mueller investigation turned up nothing. Well, this is clearly wrong. And you've got someone not even managing to cry crocodile tears on air. That was quite a funny one. Look, I'm pulling a sad face. Impeach the president or I'll be sad. And it's just like... You can't even crocodile tears, right? This is just embarrassing. But no, I think next election...
I'm voting UKIP if I do vote anyone.
I mean, which party actually seems to have some interest in... Because the only thing they want to do is they want to bring in the proportional representation as the, what's it called? Because the current first past the post system, I think it was described as 65% of people's votes are meaningless.
That's quite a lot.
Because if you get a place that's got a free division, like between 3 parties, and someone can win with 30% of the vote in that constituency, because the rest of the vote is split up into smaller and smaller chunks, that's going to happen. Which is why loads of people are like, Farage, why are you doing this? Why are you trying to split a vote that's already split even more by having your own little party? Because, you know, blackjack and hookers, I suppose.
They should just go, okay then, that person voted for that one, that person, and just accumulate all of them and see which number is the biggest. And it just, I don't mean as like in just a small, small, I just mean literally the whole country. It doesn't matter what part of the country they're from.
That's the thing, it's the whole voting for the constituency, because we vote by constituency and not for, like, you know, a grand presidente. Much as some people believe otherwise, apparently. not implying it's any of you. It's just I've seen people
Mm.
who are just like,
Oh yeah, I know.
you got to vote for. You vote
Yeah,
for the Prime Minister, and it's like, no, you're voting for your local area. The problem is you are
Yeah.
also voting for the Prime Minister.
Yep.
So if your local area would be very beneficial, like mine is, from the Labour Party, you also have to allow for the fact that the Labour Party on a national level are a bit
As
of a
Jerry,
joke.
and they have Jeremy Corbyn as their leader.
Yes, Mr. Well, I mean, if it came to it and I had to press, had to decide on, like, the nuclear option, I would have to get them all around a table. We'd just have to talk it all out. And it's like, no, Jeremy, that's not how this question works. If it came to nuclear war, you don't get everyone around a table and have a nice chat. It's not like your mates at Hamas.
Or, if you're going to do that, at least make sure that you get everybody there, so then you could be somewhere else pressing that fucking button to aim at them.
I think it's nice that he has his morals, but he does not have the morals required for a leader.
No, definitely not.
As I say, as a local MP, I'm sure he's great. His constituents clearly think so. They've been voting him in for 40 years.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's good. It's just he really should not be the leader. But there's all these teenage girls who idolise him as this great saviour because socialism.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've met
Yeah.
some of them.
Wow.
It's creepy as all fuck. You've got these
Jesus Christ, I wouldn't let him protect my fucking bag of crisps.
I think I have met a bunch of people who've got selfies with him as their Facebook pictures. It's just I mean, alright, but
there's a lot of fangirling over Corbyn from some people.
it just seems a bit. I don't want to say skeezy, but
it kind of
skeezy.
is.
It's just by all means, have, your glorious leader, but at the same time, bring it back a step, guys. Come on. I mean, he's just a man. It's just you're not voting for Corbyn. Well, you're clearly a racist. And it's this would be the Corbyn who paraded Diane Abbott around at one point to show her off to his mates.
Yeah.
Was it one of those parties, where they, was it pig parties?
I think it's the Labour Party's equivalent of those, from what I've heard. And it's just ugh. That seems like aggressively racially overtoned. But again, he is the chosen one.
Oh, that just makes me think of the Mortal Kombat song.
I am the chosen
Yeah.
one. Alright, let's dance. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that needs to be his theme song.
I haven't heard that song in ages. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna find it.
Wouldn't
Enjoy
it
it
by
before
Utah
Article
State?
13 removes it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna happen.
But you've got
isn't
what, till tomorrow?
Yeah. I'd imagine it'll take them off to get the legislation through, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, Mortal Kombat theme
That's the
songs.
thing. It can't not happen unless the EU has a very rare turn of heart and says no to something.
Yeah. I'm not gonna hold my breath for that.
But you have democracy, guys. Just gotta vote out the people. It's just,
You might hear it through your stream in a moment, but feck it.
not.
It's. Oh,
I mean, was it Hamas? I know Corbyn has pictures of him at a wreath-laying ceremony for some dead terrorists. And he was he was there, but he was not involved. It's just Jeremy, there's a picture of you holding a wreath.
Yeah, but not involved. Honest.
What? Sorry, I was just.
It's just it's just poor optics.
What is?
The Labour Party mostly.
Yeah.
Ah,
I believe the to quote GLaDOS, it would be funny if it weren't so sad. The other thing, Conservatives as a party, unless they really can, you know, reshuffle things, are done. At least for the next, you know, 5-10 years.
Yeah. I don't think there's any kind of like.
And we'll be back to the Labour Party. That's kind of how. Unless there's a massive like revolt, even on the side that voted Labour, it's Jeremy. He's going to be our next PM. And to be honest,
Hopefully he has a hashtag.
that's not what I was going to go for. But the thing is, I reckon with Corbyn, what he'll do is he'll bring us back into the EU on like a soft deal that'll basically be like Theresa May's deal, because that'll be demanded of him. Because I can't, you know, how can it not be really? He is kind of almost kind of stuck with that one of, you know, even if, you know, he is the party leader, he is meant to represent the party, and I think, given all of, you know, the shit people talk about him, I reckon he'll at least do that. You know, I reckon he'll have the like the fortitude at least to actually vote where his you know,
Pocket dictates him.
no, it's just whereas, you know, the party requires him to do, because, you know, he would see that as his job as the leader, which is why he's been, you know, so anti-Brexit, despite the fact that he is at least used to be a Brexiteer. It does seem like a dumb word, but, you know.
Yeah, it just makes me think of, like, you know, musketeers.
But you know, it's going to be a case of nothing will change, but nothing will stay the same either, most likely.
Yeah, that just means that we'll still be in it, but we're just gonna have nothing to say, nothing to do.
I say, from all the forecasts that I've seen, because I know Sargon talked about a few of them, then it was a case of it's 100 million. Sorry, 100 billion for any outcome. So, you know,
What, 100 billion what?
100 billion pounds.
What, to pay to the EU?
Yeah, basically that's about how much it's going to cost. For it, irrespective of which outcome it is, that's about what it's going to be. Which, to be honest, is not terrible, but it's not, you know, wanted either.
I just go. It's nice. It's just nice and simple. Just turn to the EU and go. Middle finger. Fuck you. We're out. See you later. Bye.
Yeah, it's too late for that now.
It's
Like,
never too late to give people the middle finger and tell them fuck you. Bye.
Oh, I know, but the whole way that everything's been going through Parliament and everything, it's.
I say we bomb Parliament, getting, somebody,
I do not
somebody.
support the views of Discanar on this my channel.
I don't. My name is Simon, and I admit that the Parliament should just get rid of and
So
get
what
somebody
you're saying
new
is
in.
Guy Fawkes did nothing wrong, understand?
Guy Fawkes had the right idea. This day and age.
Ah, well, he kind of wanted the Catholic Church to run the country, didn't he?
Yeah.
I haven't got a clue. I'm not good about that. I just mean,
Yeah, he wanted the Catholics to rule, as the Protestants had been subjugating the Catholics quite a lot.
I just mean his initial
No, I was just
plan.
checking. I was remembering right.
I think that's it anyway. If not, then I'm sure someone in the chat can inform me better. But either way, it's, let's not encourage violence against our political opponents. Let's not sink to their level. Oh dear.
I'm a fat bastard. I can sink quite easily.
I do as well, and I'm not. It's very annoying. So on a rare occasion, I have the plasma generators for my power armor, but I don't have the power armor yet.
Sounds like you've done it the wrong way round.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I've managed this.
You've managed it badly, like the government.
Political disc now.
I know you've been getting very into politics recently, Disc.
It's annoying me. I keep on seeing all this shit about, oh yeah, fucking second referendum, and then you got like, people's vote and all this.
So, when we're having round 3, fellas? Also, be right back, sorry.
Okay. And it's just really, really annoying, so I've got no choice but to pay attention.
Well, it's kind of unavoidable though, because it's like, it's everywhere, isn't it, at the moment?
And it's just, it's like with this, supposedly 5 million petition signatures, even though anybody around the world can put their name down.
Well, yeah.
Also, I know, this might be slightly controversial for some people, but people who are expats who have gone to live in France, Spain, Italy, whatever, should not get a say in what's happening in this country. They made their choice. They left the country to have a better life. So they surely chose and made their decision. To me, that's like saying, okay, then I'm quitting this job and I'm going for that job. But, what's that? That place is now trying to do that. I say no. You're not fucking getting a fucking word. You've made your choice. Your choice was to fucking leave. When they had no pressure of choice and they went, yeah, I'm going to leave this country and go to this other country because it's nicer. Well, there you go. That's your choice made and done for you. You get no more say. And that's my thing as well, because there's probably going to be a lot of expats that have probably voted, signed this signature and even got to vote, etc. And it's just like, well, you've made your choice. You got to live with it. And like I said, it's just a case of you chose to, when you got the choice, you chose to move out of the country because you thought it was a better life over in that country. There you go. You deal with that country. You leave the country you left alone.
Well, people who've gone to spend the holiday, essentially as a prolonged holiday sort of thing.
If they've gone on a holiday, fine. That's not a thing. I'm talking about expats. The ones that have actually gone to move and live in another country. If somebody's like I say, they've made their choice. They chose to move away from this country to what they would probably class is a better place of living, a better place to live. So they're saying this country's not good enough to live in. This country is. We're going to move there, and then they go, oh well, no, you can't do that. Even though we have.
I mean, the EU seems to be quite happy to kick them all back.
True.
But also at the same time, have you seen any of Gerard Batten's things on what he would do if he was running,
I don't even know who the guy is.
Okay, Gerard Batten is the leader of UKIP. He's been doing lots of videos with Sargon recently, which is why I've been seeing so much about him.
Oh.
And he has his thing of, it's very simple. We will, start negotiations for how best to work with trade, because trade clearly needs to happen. And the people who say that trade cannot happen have, don't believe that anywhere else in the world has the ability to trade. But the other problem is, the EU, it cannot work sustainably for that long, because that's the, the whole thing of they're going, we need, you need to give up your sovereignty. That's correct. For the EU to work, they need the sovereignty of every nation, because they need to be able to take all the different constituent nations and run them, because, it's going to be a balance, like the Northern European ones generally have some form of social and welfare systems, which you just can't get in other parts of Europe. I'm pretty sure Serbia is that part of the world, part of the the Balkan area.
No idea.
Is that part of Europe? Well, I know it's part of Europe, but it's part of the EU, because that, that can't really work if there's, what's it called? Well, you know, it's like the very simple thing of, because there's like so much wage disparity and like socio-political disparity, it just cannot work, you know. Like, look at Greece. Greece's economy is, you know, a smoking pile of crap, basically.
Yeah.
Because it's tied to the euro. And because it's tied to the euro, it can't have a recession to recover its economy, you know, have everything drop and recover its economy. So, hey, you couldn't see my hands. Oh my god. Yeah, it's basically because it can't have an economy to, you know, sort of crash and then get put back together. Well, that's the thing, you know, if you have an economic crash, it's short term, it's not, you know, a permanent thing, but because it can't have that, its economy is going to keep diving, it's going to keep, you know, basically losing more and more of its assets, because, again, when, you know, basically your paymaster is the EU is basically buying more of Greece. Your economy can't recover if none of the money spent in your country goes back into your economy. Because I know V talks about this in some of his videos. You know, his electric bill goes to France, you know, his gas bill goes to Germany, his water bill goes to, like, I forget where, I think I'm also in Germany. And, you know, all this money is just leaving Romania. You know, all the people who are, you know, working as, like skilled people, like doctors and people, they're just leaving the country, because, you know, if you can earn $200 a month for being a doctor in Romania, or you could earn, you know, $2,000 a month in a country not very far away that you can travel to without any permits, what are you going to do? You're going to start learning German, aren't you? You know, V is staying in Romania. He's, you know, doing YouTube because YouTube pays better.
So you're saying he's a Romainer?
He's a Romanian. That's the thing, you know, he has got at least the sort of right attitude towards it of leaving your country does not fix it. Like, all the people are like, you know, waiting for, like, the Leave voters to come and, like, emigrate to America, and it's like, fucking why? You've got a bigger political divide over there. You know, you've got active, like, gangs of each political party kicking the shit out of each other in the streets. It's not a good look.
No, it really isn't.
You know, like, people saying, like, to Dankula, it's like, you know, you should, like, you should leave Scotland and, you know, come and live in America, and it's like, and he's like, no, I want to stay in Scotland and fix this broken-ass system.
It does seem to be the answer from a lot of people. Just come and move here. Leave your country, move here.
Leave your
It'll be
problems
much better.
behind.
Well, the thing is, you know, like a lot of, even, you know, both sides of the political, you know, thing is saying, oh yeah, let's go move to such and such country to
ruin,
you know,
that one as well.
Well, no, it's a case of, you know, then they'll turn around and go about, you know, it's like with, you know, with, like, basically the immigrants and stuff. They go, well, why don't people just stay in this, you know, in their own country and make the place a better place themselves instead of just,
Well,
you know.
Again, one of the things that V's, like, talked about is, you know, when you've got, like, the EU basically getting all this cheap, unskilled labour from, you know, like, North Africa and places, and the poorer parts of Europe, it's not helping any of those places. You know, and it's that thing of, you know, well, we've got massive youth unemployment, but that doesn't matter, because, you know, we can just bring in more of them. And, you know, they can basically be on benefits instead, and it's just like, that's not a long-term solution.
Yeah,
You know,
but a lot of people don't seem to think.
I'm pretty sure the UN has its, you know the whole, like, the replacement conspiracy. The UN has, like, a paper on that, apparently. You know, it's a legit thing that tangibly exists. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. which a lot of people seem to, misinterpret. But when it's done intentionally, that can be, a problem. If you go, well, if we just, get this population to not have any of its own kids, and we just get other people instead, then, at least for the short term, well, we've got our own voting bloc, and by the time it's not a problem, well, we won't be there anymore. Theresa May has very little sort of, I guess, requirement to do very well at this, because, she's, what, 70?
I don't know how old she is, actually.
I mean, either way, she's got no, immediate family other than her husband to,
No real future either with that age.
That's the thing, it's the, like Dankula, he wants to make Scotland better, so he's got a place for his kids to live.
That's
because he wants,
sensible.
When he's gotten married, he's having kids, because he's one of those type of, traditionalists, as it were. And that's, I'd say a reasonable point, but that is also apparently a white nationalist point, wanting to get married and have kids. Because that's the thing, the political divide has gotten to the point of lunacy, where you're against this thing, or you're for this thing, well, that's clearly just because, you're
racist.
Everyone. And it's not sustainable. As a political point, it's not sustainable to have one side where you go, well, you're racist, so you're wrong, and then to just move on. How many times have you seen, well, mostly on Twitter and places, people go, hey Guardian, it'd be great if you could, stop rewriting this article dozens of times. When you've got the whole, having kids is the worst thing I've done, and, the whole, well, my wife and I decided we want to have 3 kids, but after the first one, it's like, it was a mistake, and it's just like, Jesus Christ! Son, oh look, here's my old Twitter account from back in the, here's my dad's old Twitter account from back in the day. I wonder what he had to say. Oh. I was a mistake, apparently.
Yeah. That's the whole thing with the internet, though, as well, isn't it? People forget that, once they've put it out there, it's kind of out there, and it's not going anywhere.
And it's just, there's more and more of these people, on the sort of hard left, who are like, it's bad for the planet to have children, you shouldn't have children. It's just like, and the kind of people who, listen to their every word will be like, that's terrible, I need to stop having children, sort of thing. Because,
some people should not have children.
This is the right thing to do. And yeah, as Disconnect kind of says, to be honest, probably those people probably shouldn't be having children, because they don't sound like they're fucking mentally prepared for it.
Yeah.
If your attitude to, well, we decided we wanted to have 3 kids, but after the first one we went, nah, we're good, thanks. Then, yeah, you should not have kids, because that's like the borderline of a very abusive relationship. But no, it's more and more of that kind of thing, and it's just kind of demoralising that the people who claim to, want the best for society have a habit of being utter shitbags.
Yeah.
Because, at least when
I think... I was just going to say, I think with them it's like, I want the best for society, but only my part of society. Screw everyone else.
Yeah, because that's the kind of thing. Because, if I espouse my views, I generally say as, in my opinion, for me, I don't go, you should think this way. I go, I think this way, why do you think your way? And normally the answer is, you're wrong. At which point I go, okay, I'm wrong. Well done. That's quite the argument you've got there.
And that seems to be happening more and more now. It's just people aren't willing to have, like, a discussion with someone who has an opposite opinion to them.
Because those people are clearly wrong white supremacist, racist Nazis. That's how this works.
Yeah.
Or they're leftist cuck soy boys.
True.
Because it goes the other way as well.
See, I'd be willing to have a discussion with people on...
complete shitbags for the most part. Because they've gone so far to the other end, they don't... It's like the Overton window. Anyone who's right-wing is left, is anyone right of Stalin. You know, the whole, you can't be a centrist, centrists aren't real.
That old argument.
I beg to differ. I do believe that I am possibly one of those that would be classed as a centrist.
I think I have the Dr. Lehman Radical Alt-Centrist t-shirt. But, what was I going to say? What was it?
Don't
know. But yeah, no, this whole, there can't be a centre. No, I think I've watched Sargon's videos, because he's been putting them out fairly regularly, and some of them come as well on the YouTube.
He's been putting out, has he?
I think I see people sharing these videos because they're just... It's just people talking to each other in a non-hostile fashion in a way that makes logical consistency. And you look at the channel and you go, yeah, you know, it seems good, I'll subscribe to it. Which apparently thousands and thousands of people have done to the point of UKIP has overtaken all the other political parties' YouTube channels. Like, 'cause I follow the Conservatives one, because the Mogcast is generally quite amusing to listen to. I've not seen the Labour one at all, I couldn't say. And, you know, I don't follow these things because I completely agree with their views. It's because I want to see what they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've tried to watch some of the Labour stuff in the past, and it's just... You know, you get, like, the whole talking head, you know, this is how you should think type people on some of them, and I just go, no. I'm not listening to this. You're just telling me propaganda. And on that front, apparently, this may amuse Discount as well. Apparently, there is a higher chance of people on the autism spectrum to be what they refer to as immune to propaganda. Because...
Yeah, I like to make my mind up.
Yeah, and it's just like, maybe that has some, like, grounding to it.
Because I'm not sure if anybody's noticed, but you know, unless somebody actually proves to me that something else is whatever, I will stand my ground on things. You know, because until somebody actually presents me with difference in information, then you know, if somebody goes this side and here's this side, and then you know, I'm not going to go, you know. Oh yeah, this, you know, fucking, oh shit, I can't remember what I'm talking about now. Okay, who cares? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Brain dead. I am.
But no, it's just, when the political debate comes down to the other side is wrong and not here's why I am right, it's over. Because thing, you know, I've seen some, you know, the more sort of, I guess, southern-based, like, neck-beardy autist types, because other people actually go out and do things now. It's so weird. And, you know, there's got this one guy, and, you know, he does the sort of gabbling, rambling thing, which is sort of like, ooh, that's a concerning thing to watch someone else do on video. And he went out and talked to a bunch of Remain people, and they were either, this is being recorded, no, I'm not talking to you, or this is being live streamed, at which point, and someone would actually have a chat, and someone would talk to you. And you can see the kind of occasional kind of flicker in their eyes as the cogs start turning a bit, and they start to realise that some of the stuff they're saying is bollocks. The thing is, it's not all of it. You know, they have some good points, which makes it worse to some people, because suddenly they've got valid points and they can't be refuted, therefore... But it's, you know, it's like the whole, if Brexit happens, we would have control of our borders. And they're like, oh, we have control of them now. It's like, no, we don't. We have the free movement of people. And the thing is, as soon as you enter Europe, you don't need a visa. You know, if you're, say, if you're registered as a French citizen because you've, you know, come across from like North Africa or whatever, you can just come to the UK and get benefits. It's that simple.
No, but you can't go to France and get those benefits
No,
because they'll go fuck you.
Yep, so lots of people come to the UK because it's, you know, the system is set up. Now, are those people bad people? Not necessarily. I mean, you know, yeah, they're taking advantage of a system, but how many people here take advantage of it?
I was just going to say, yeah, how many people here played the system?
It's just the fact that when you make it easier for people who, you know, from outside of the system to come in and take advantage of the system, kind of get a big question of, okay, but why? You know, how is it easier? Because this is the thing I've seen. I've not got any evidence of it, because I don't think the evidence would be very findable. I've heard it's, you know, a lot of people talk about it, the whole, if you're, you know, like, well, I mentioned Discordar probably has some knowledge of the system. When you're applying to, like, get a council house or whatever,
yeah, I
some
live
people
in a
will get
housing
pushed
association
way
place,
up
so-
the list because, you know, they're prioritised.
Yeah.
Which, you know, certain circumstances, I can go, yeah, that makes sense. But at least from what I've heard locally, they're basically funding and subsidising an absolute fuckload of student flats in town to get the students out of the, basically into the town centre round where all the universities are, so that they can use the, you know, sort of, I guess, not the social housing, like the, you know, general purpose housing in the rest of the area for, you know, people.
Ah, see, they're doing the exact same thing around here. They're building
I've heard the rent prices from some of the places in town, and it's like $500 a month for a little one-room shared kitchen flat, and it's just like, Jesus wept. That's the thing. And it's the whole, because they want more houses, so they can start having these massive student areas, so they can get more housing. It's like, okay, does Nottingham have that big a problem with, you know, homelessness and people waiting for houses? Or is it that they're trying to virtue signal by giving refugees housing? In which case, that's dumb, because then you're gentrificating your students, because your poor students are not going to have anywhere to live, because they won't be able to afford these rent prices. Like, you know, I'm not exactly, you know, my parents aren't exactly bad off, and I could barely afford my rent in first year. Like, after my loan, like, you know, all the maintenance loans meant to, like, keep you going for the entire year. After I'd paid my rent out of it, I had £150.
What, for the year?
Yeah. So it's a good thing I'd had a job before uni.
Yeah.
And, you know, that my parents could support me a bit. But yeah, you know, I lived in the cheapest place as well. And the cheapest place was £95 a week as student halls.
Yeah.
So when you add, you know, the thing, and there's places that can go up to £600 a month for student halls, comfortably, like for just the regular ones, just in different places, the same type of room. And when you get, like, you know, like the studio apartments and stuff, you're talking nearly £1,000 a month.
Yeah,
for a student flat, and it's just like, who is this for? You know, I'm not saying that, you know, these things shouldn't be allowed. It's just that that's a fuckload. And that's the thing, you know, the first student house I lived in as a student house, not a student, like, accommodation, £42 a week. Had to pay my own rent and bills, but that came to about £8 a week. So £50 a week. I suddenly had twice as much money available, and because it was such a large amount of money over such a long time, I lived very comfortably as a student. I saved money to the point of I still have my savings now, and I graduated 2 years ago.
Wow.
Because that's how much money I have from my loan. And I've, you know, not much of it's left, obviously. I've done extravagant things, like I bought myself a new 3D printer, and I bought some trains. But I've been able to do this, and I can still, you know, like, from what I've heard from some people, I live well below the poverty line. Like, well below it, apparently. And I live comfortably playing video games most of the time. Because I've got savings and I do work and I get paid well for the work I do. Because it's awkward work, like I'll get call-outs at odd times of the day and I will get paid quite well as a result. So it's, it's not steady pay, which is why I'm happy I've got the savings, because some months, like I think over the winter, where it was a bit quieter, especially over the beginning of the summer, when the students kind of moving out, there is nothing to do. Like, I'll maybe get 10 hours of work at most. And in other weeks, I'll get 70 hours a week for a few weeks in a row, while all the houses are being renovated over the summer. So yeah, my job's not stable. It's good to have the savings. But at the same time, I don't get why they're having this massive push to get rid of students from, like, Lenton and Beeston. I guess, because I know one of the things I've heard is, from what I've remember, it's because basically during the summer, those areas get dead, and they have a lot of, people, like, breaking into places and stuff, apparently.
Yeah, that kind of makes
But
a
that
bit
kind
of...
of doesn't really make sense, because the houses are empty. Or you have people who stay across, like, stay out of season sort of thing, because that's what I've always done.
Yeah.
I go back to visit my parents. I've not moved back in with them since I graduated. But I don't know, it's just all the sort of... No, I would not be interested in selling recreational pharmaceuticals, Oak Native. There are a lot of people around here do, apparently. Oh, that's one of the things. The old style terrace houses that you get around most of the country that's been at all industrialised?
Yeah, we've got
They've
loads of them around
started
here.
building new ones in that style, but they're modernised and they look horrible.
Oh, that sounds
Like,
weird.
it's like the same kind of houses. There's some opposite me that are just brick ones. They look like they're built backwards.
Oh.
They've got, let me see, they've got one medium-sized window and two small windows on the front of the house. Presumably the windows are on the back? I don't know. Very few windows. And then there's other ones over near the doctors. And they've got, like, aluminium, like, panelling sheeting stuff over the front, so they look a bit like, the sort of modernish, like, metal-clad buildings.
Yeah.
But the size of a little terrace house. And they look quite cute. And to be honest, it might work and it might grow on me, but when I've seen them as they're new, it's just like, ugh. And if that's the kind of housing they're, trying to, replace things with, it's... First thing, all these houses are small as well. Like, the houses opposite, you've got a whole, like, presumably 3-bedroom family house. Regular house sizing, and it's small. Like, I've just seen a car drive past, and the car is almost the length of the depth of the house.
Oh.
And it's just like, and then you got the older terrace houses, like the ones I'm in, and they're, a good, 10 by 12 foot, the front room? Admittedly, I spend all my time in here, so it's not quite as spacious as you might want, and it's very big for a bedroom, but it's also my lounge, some degree of my kitchen, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't see this whole build smaller and smaller houses to fit more people in. For why?
Yeah, you see, we've got loads of the Victorian terraces around here, and like you see them from the front, and they look really like small and cute and stuff. But then if you look at them side on, they're really long.
Oh yeah, there are some in other parts of town that are very, very short and very, very long.
Yeah.
Like there's one, the one I used to live in actually. It's quite a long lounge room at the front, reasonable sized kitchen, and then the bathroom extension off the back. And I think what my sister used to live in when she was a student, it's 4 rooms deep. Huge, great long houses. You can have like 7, 9 beds in them.
Yeah, that's what some of these are like, and I'm sure a few of them have been like made into like 2 of the terraces as like one house, like one big house, like a student
yeah, they do that
housing.
as well. I know there's I think I saw a thing on the news. It's like there's a 29 bedroom house or something stupid. they've knocked 2 of those massive terrace ones together somewhere in London.
Yeah.
And it's got like 7 bathrooms and stuff like that. It's just like, who wants to live in that house? Like really?
Oh, as a student house, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, 'cause it's like, it's for 9 people who liked at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Because the advice I always give to students is never live with your friends.
Oh no, living with friends is a bad
Because
idea.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Trust me on this one, it is a bad idea.
But no, it's just I've dealt with enough student groups to realise quite quickly that certain groups can get along quite well, and other groups, you're surprised you're not finding chunks in the kitchen when you go around to check the meters. Well, I know one of the houses, the one I used to live, one I used to live in. My housemates decided they didn't like me anymore, and that they were going to move out unless I did at the end of the tenancy. And because I worked for the landlord, they didn't have me round to do any jobs for a year. So that house was properly run down by the time I got into it when they'd all moved out. From simple stuff like the bathroom overflow on the toilet had been dripping for 6 months.
Oh.
And it was like less than a minute's job to fix it. Lid up on the tank, twist the ball valve round, like a degree, done.
Yeah.
6 months that needed doing. Pissed me off, because I had to walk past it and I could always see the back of the house and see it dripping and see the stain on the wall.
Yeah. Oh, surely that's getting into the realms of pettiness, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, they were properly petty. I turned into an asshole as well, which didn't help.
Oh, but it gets to think, well, if you're going to be like that, I'm going to be even worse, doesn't it?
I wasn't doing it on purpose at the beginning, and then I did. It was not, shall we say, the best approach, but well, you have a 10 by 12 bathroom.
Oh, but he's an American. They've got
I was going
too
to
much
say,
space.
America is really weirdly proportioned. Everyone there looks short because the houses are normally quite big. Normally. Like, I've seen Nullus, who I occasionally stream with, when I was helping him fix his computer at one point, which basically consisted of him being on a video call and pointing at bits and going, does that look normal? And, what's the word? And basically, he looks kind of short. He's 6'3".
Oh, okay.
Because the proportions of, the house he's in are weird. Because it's the whole America is big and flat.
Yeah.
And mostly made of wood. And yeah, I can get the side of, wood is a lot easier to modify, if stuff needs repairs. But at the same time, you get one bad storm or hurricane and you're picking pieces of, your house out of the neighbour's lawn for the next few weeks. Or, with Katrina, you're picking up bits of Mississippi and New Orleans from Louisiana.
Yeah.
I have been nearly streaming for 3 hours, and I've only just really looked at the timer.
I don't even know what is the time. It's 6:30.
Yeah.
How did...
I'm glad I went and got something to eat at the beginning of the stream. That's the thing, you say they're using plans from a Russian architect. I have seen what the inside of, Romanian flat blocks are like. And yeah, it might have been a fairly nice block when it was originally built, but even in these huge, great big concrete tower blocks, they're much bigger than places in the UK. Like, and again, even with the weird scaling issues of when you see stuff through a webcam. When my ex was visiting a family, and she'd video call me, and it's just like, her lounge is about the size of the ground floor of my house. And it's just like, yeah, it's old and Soviet and probably not very, easy to maintain at this point. But at the same time, it's not, it's not a bad place. Why can I not process enough of this stuff? Okay, let's cut off the coal supply. But, no, the whole space issue. Because that's the thing that always kind of confuzzles me a bit with the whole, you know, people really wanting to move to the UK, and it's like, okay, I think we have the tiniest houses in Europe.
Yeah.
But we have social housing. So you can basically move into a free tiny house.
Well, like, it's really weird, like, how much smaller houses have got as well.
Oh, yeah,
like,
you
the
cram
flat,
as many into the land as you can get.
the flat I'm in was built in the 60s. My sister and her husband bought a house a couple of years ago, 3-bedroom one. When was it built? 90s, early 2000s, I think. And their bedrooms are all smaller than the bedroom in my flat. Because, like, when my sister came round, she was like, "I can't believe how big your rooms are."
Oh, I was saying my great uncle has a place somewhere in London. I forget exactly which part. I've not been in. Well, I've not been, to be honest, since 2007 happened. It kind of put my family off visiting on a regular basis, and then they got out of the habit and haven't really resumed it. But his spare room is about the size of the front room of my house that I live in at the moment. His main lounge room is about the size of the ground floor of this house. The kitchen's tiny, but you know, it's a kitchen. And his bedroom is about the size of my one, and he lives in a flat in London, you know, a sort of 5-floor high, you know, brick built block. I want to say Hemel Hempstead. I don't know. It's been a while. You know, that's an old house built in London, which presumably, I think it's one he owns as well, and it's not like a rented place. And, you know,
damn, he owns a place in London. Holy
he does, yeah.
shit!
Well, if not, then you know he's presumably not had to, you know, had his rent increase probably much in the last 20, 30 years. But you know, that's the thing. You know, if you wouldn't dream of building a place that big nowadays for general housing. That's the thing. He used to work on the railways. He retired, I think, when BR stopped existing, and has been retired for all the time that I've consciously been around him. And he goes and travels around. He goes to rail tours and stuff in other countries and stuff. He just has holidays and stuff. And you can't imagine doing that off a pension, living in a house built today, could you?
No.
The rent on that would be obscene. But people still want to come here because it's free money, and as a result, it's more people being crammed into a smaller space, and it's just self-defeating.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying to people is, go and get a kind of crappy job in Germany and live in a nicer house, to be honest. I've seen some of the houses in Germany, and they are really nice, and the quality of life there is good, and the wages are good. And Germany's bigger, there's just more space, more German people who are generally quite attractive in the ladies anyway. But, not that I'm shitting on the UK, it's just, that's the thing, it's...
Oh, I don't know, a lot of
like,
women over here need to make a bit more effort with themselves, I think.
I mean, some of them, yeah. But no, it's the thing, I kind of almost feel bad that the people who are, coming over here for, the benefits and stuff are just getting screwed by the same system everyone else is. Whoever's telling them this is a good idea are complete bastards. Put this way, imagine, right, if you get a part-time job in Romania, right? It's a lovely, beautiful country. Yeah? Yeah, there's not social programs as much. There's a few, but not as much, right? Get a part-time job there. You can work. You can get a decent wage. Right? Not have to do too much work. Decent wage. Decent place to live. It's warm.
Yeah.
Doesn't rain very much, especially the places near the Med. Nearer the Med. And yeah, that would be great. And it'd be so much cheaper. Because the money goes further. But you'd get more money that doesn't go as far in the UK. So, part of me is thinking, You know, I was at one point, if it hadn't been, you know, before my whole relationship thing stopped existing, I was looking, you know, I'd planned places to go and like a nice sort of holiday in, excuse me, Romania.
Mm.
You know, potentially look at staying for like a few months or something. Because it's, you know, it's the thing, it's a nice place and it's quite cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, I went on a holiday. I went on a week to Berlin with school at one point. I say school, university.
Yeah.
And it's the thing of, you know, I could, you know, like, yeah, words. I was trying to like cheap out a bit because I want to get some nice souvenirs to like take home, but I didn't want to get them too early in the week in case I saw something quite nice later in the week, sort of thing.
Yeah, makes
so
sense.
I, you know, there was an Aldi. Not an Aldi, a Lidl, outside the hostel we were staying at. So I was just buying, you know, bread. You know, nice big ciabatta loaf, stick in my bag, walk around all day, eat bread whenever I'm hungry. And because I'm walking around all day, it's constantly burning carbohydrate. And it's just like, yeah, you know, I could eat for like 70 cents a day. It's great.
Yeah. But like, why wouldn't you do that? And then you can spend your money on like nice souvenirs and.
Yeah, that's what I did. And it's the thing of, you know, like, not that I'm trying to like be like, oh, you know, people shouldn't come to the UK. It's just there's
People shouldn't come to the UK.
From, like, well, no, it's the thing of, from like raw numbers, it probably sounds more appealing. But you know, for actual ability to like quality of life and everything, I'd imagine a lot of other places in Europe would be a lot nicer.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like, why do you think people retire to Spain and the south of France? They don't go, well, I've worked hard my whole life, I'm going to retire to Grimsby. I mean, some people do, but, you know. It's just, you know, the more I see of, like, the rest of Europe, because there's been a lot of that about recently, you know. Like, people showing off bits of Europe. Can't imagine why. Thought they wanted us to say or something. And, you know, loads of it looks really nice. And, you know, it's got loads of history because it's a really fucking old continent.
Yeah.
And all, like, the, you know, the culture and everything. And, you know, apparently knowing that is also a white nationalist talking point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I saw one thing, it was like, interest in monogamous relationships, personal, like, well-being and all that. You know, interest in literature are all, like, far-right, things. It's just like, okay. So liking classical literature and keeping yourself in decent physical conditions. It kind of begs the question of, what if you're not doing that? Does that mean the opposite? But,
It does imply that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's... I don't even know if it's satire. Because
it's so hard to tell at this point.
I know, it's so dumb. But that's the thing, you know. Whoever is telling... That's the thing. If you live in, like, North Africa, which is where, allegedly at least, a lot of the sort of economic migrants seem to be coming from. At least, you know, again, allegedly, because, I don't know. No one seems to know, apparently. And why would you come to the UK? Like, whoever's been, like, feeding this, you know, you should come to the UK, it's just a bunch of bastards. You know, I think,
So I was just going to say, I'm sure there are some good points. I'm struggling to think of any at the moment, though.
you know, there's a lot of stuff, but, you know, if you want...
I mean, we've got history, I guess.
Yeah, but that's not, you know...
So's a lot of, you know, so's a lot of Europe.
Yeah, a lot of places have history. Here's the thing of... I know, I'm trying to remember, it's, no, I'm just going to find it. I can't play it, so... right, can I open a tab that isn't going to, come up on stream? Oh, that's me being attacked by a big horde. Okay. Repair this. Put in some more turrets. But yeah, Dr. Animacam has a, you know, he has his little, like, music bits.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Animacam. Now, can I get the link to it? Can I spell his name correctly? Okay, now, can I... There we go. Managed to pause it before it loaded. I'll put in shit posting. Also, my stream's running longer than I anticipated. I should probably stop soon.
I know. I've success because I got up, played D&D this morning, and I've just stayed sat in front of my computer since then.
Good feeling.
You played D&D this morning?
Yeah, Quax's campaign early this morning.
I caught the end of it. But yeah, it's just that one of... it's quite amusing. To me, at least. Could probably put in the chat as well if anyone's curious. But yeah, it's just, you know, that whole... Whoever is convincing people to come to the UK because, you know, like, the weather or something. I'm not saying it's a bad place, I'm just saying, you know, if you wanted to have somewhere nice to live, there's a lot of other places.
Yeah, there are better options, I think.
And there's a lot better, because that's the thing, you know, the amount of people who, you know, the amount, well, not so much recently, but I know a few years ago you get dozens of clips a week of, like, people breaking into, like, trucks and stuff to get across the channel, and it's just like, you know, people, like, being dragged out from underneath, like, the trains at the other, in, like, Dover.
Yeah.
With, like, frostbite because the tunnel's really cold. And it's just like, who is convincing these people that that's a good idea? That's, like, that almost seems like someone is trying to get these people killed.
It kind
It's
of does,
not-
actually, thinking about it. Now you said that, I'm like,
You know,
yeah.
It's like, you know, these people clearly aren't deciding, right, my country's a bit of a shithole. That's presumably why they're leaving. I can apparently get money if I travel all the way across Europe to go to this rainy island in the Atlantic. Who is, you know, that's not a thought process I'd imagine most people would have. They'd be like, Turkey seems alright.
Yeah.
You know, Greece has got nice weather, you know. Presumably things are fairly cheap there. You know, Italy, all these places. But no, they come all the way across to the north. And it's just like...
Yeah, you see, like, that's one thing I've never understood, is why is it so popular? Like, why the UK?
Yeah, because that's the thing. I'm not saying these people shouldn't come here because I don't like them. I'm saying they shouldn't come here because it's a bit shit. Like, you know, it's the whole... But then again, it's also the thing of I'm viewing it from my point of view of how the system kind of treats me, as opposed to how the system seems to favour certain people. Because, you know, there's all kinds of unevenness in how stuff gets treated. Because, like, some councils will go, you know, we need to help these poor refugees. And they're like, yeah, that's sensible, you know, you want to help refugees. But when they're economic migrants... doing everything, being seen to be doing everything you can to help them is just kind of, you know, pull opportunistic people in. And, you know, I'm not saying we shouldn't be charitable, but at the same time, it's the whole, you know, having
We shouldn't
it
be
as a
too
thing, but it
charitable.
shouldn't be encouraged, sort of thing. You know, don't be like, hey, come to us. It should be, hey, fix your own country, because ours is about to be as fucked as yours is.
And I've just realised how dark it's got. Because I've got my
Oh,
lamp
yeah.
on my desk, and I've just looked around, and yeah, the front room is pitch black, practically.
I've also spelled that wrong. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream soon. We've gone for over 3 hours now, but I've just been bumbling around doing stuff the entire time. Purple science has happened, you know. Mission accomplished. Next up, I guess, is rocket science. which in theory I have everything set up for, apart from all of the infrastructure really. Like I don't have the capacity to process material. How's my oil? Oil is not looking too good. In that I'm using almost as much as I'm producing. Oil storage is looking pretty good actually. I'm actually producing an excess that I'm using. So then, I think we can try and expand. But I'm probably going to need more iron. If I need more iron, I should start using the iron horses to go and drag it back to my base. Probably as cooked metal as well. So I basically need to work on nuclear power. Or at least the Covarex enrichment first. Have I researched nuclear power? No, I haven't, but I can research Covarex. I'll research Covarex first. The Covarex enrichment basically means I can get significantly more nuclear fissionable material than I would with just, you know, regular refinement, and actually I think technically possible refinement as well. So that's useful, I suppose. Word spraying, slow, herring. Yeah, so I've got a little nuclear refinery. I can turn this into a nuclear power plant fairly easily. I'll put probably the plant there, and then another one there. Just have two reactors per plant, and just, you know, have vast capacity for power. And then once I've got the capacity for power, I'll try and expand further. But at this point in the game, as soon as I start expanding, I'm going to start using laser turrets. And with laser turrets, you need a solid power grid. And I don't want to do that with coal, because that pollution cloud is fucking enormous.
Told you. Throw the vegans on. Problem solved.
I'm the only person here, sadly. Like, my robots are the only company I have, and the, you know, the biters that come to kill me. But, yeah. I've slightly retitled the stream. It's gone from purple science, brackets social, to political. Oops. But, I do have a habit of making rambling points, but I try not to make too unfounded points. You know, I try and do that whole facts and logic.
What's that? What are they?
It's these things that used to exist before feelings.
Oh, I think I remember those things.
So I'm still...
They've been outlawed or something, haven't they?
Probably. It's only a matter of time. Feelings don't care about your facts. That's one of the quite good Tanya McGrath ones I've seen. And the facts don't care about your feelings, feelings don't care about your facts.
Kind of worryingly true, though, isn't it? In some
Yeah, she's a very good... She's written a book. I don't know if it's any good as a book, but I know she's written a book. I need to make my steelworks functional, because I've been cutting it back to try and turn it over to, what's the word? Not coal-powered?
Other powered.
Yeah, electric powered.
Gas, electric.
Electric, yeah. But to do that I need to clear all the infrastructure, and I'm trying to just run them out rather than, you know, deleting them. Yeah. I should probably wrap the stream up soon.
Yeah, Meg's going to be streaming later as well.
Yeah, I want to have a bit of a downtime so I can start playing that game of it. So we can start near a blood moon. Rather than have it be like 2 hours in. Yeah, 7 Days to Die on Omegon's channel. I'll be hosting it, but not playing on stream. Well, I'll be playing on the stream, but I won't be streaming, rather. As I found that server hosting it is useful.
Just hope you don't get issues with lag and stuff. Evening.
Yeah, it's generally been fairly good. If I'm not running Cura in the background, it should be a bit smoother. Cura being my 3D printing software, which my printer has actually finished ages ago now. Apparently it's 24 degrees in here though.
That's kind of warm.
Yeah, and the bed's at 26. So either it's still... it doesn't feel hot either. Maybe it's still cooling, I don't know. I didn't pay attention to when it finished, it just sort of did. But, yeah, I hadn't meant to go on a political, like, spiralling rant for ages, but it was originally about Article 13 and how it's going to kill off the Let's Play community. Because,
So it was kind of related.
yeah, it just then spiraled into, well, what do you do about Article 13? Well, I guess you can try and leave the EU. Ha 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 ha, that won't happen.
Yeah.
Okay, why won't that happen? Because no one in the government wants to do it, so they're kicking their heels for as long as they can get away with. Okay, why is that? Well, because apparently democracy is a thing that happens to other people. Why is that? And then you keep going from there. And then it gets into, why do people come to this rainy little island in the Atlantic to, you know, for their better life? You know, good on them for wanting to do it, but, you know, it's the whole... Also, who is encouraging them to do it illegally? Because I don't imagine that people would, you know, elect to, you know, make the start of their new life by breaking into a truck and then going across the Channel Tunnel either on a boat in the back of a lorry or on a train for a freezing cold tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how desperate you are to escape
France?
your well, yeah, actually, yeah, I didn't think that one through.
Yeah, that's the nice, easy one to get people on. Which I'm not trying to do to you, obviously, it's just a thing of... What is so bad about France?
I kind of realised as I started saying it, I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. And like, I've started, so I'm kind of going to finish.
But yeah, no, I've had people, when people are, you know, people come here, it's just like, okay, so are they refugees? Well, you know, people coming across from France. There you go, then.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it's trying to be like, aha, gotcha. It's more just like, is France that bad?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, because as I was talking, my brain was like, Joe, they're just the section coming from France across to here, not from wherever they've come from. You shouldn't have said what you just said.
It's so funny watching the mental gymnastics of the people who will then try and justify why France is bad. You know, they've got all the problems with political unrest and violence, and it's just like, alright, well...
Is it, like, not good enough to say because it's full of French people?
Well, no, the reason the immigrants come over to here is because they get put in shanty towns near the Eurotunnel, and that's how they've got to live, because they ain't getting shit from French. I know this because my uncle used to live in France. You know how, like, you know, you see all like those, you know, like immigrants at the Europe, you know, like the French side, you know, it looks like they're all piled in there. They haven't just happened to just run to there. If they actually showed you, you'd see like the shanty towns, and I mean, you know, like South Africa sort of, or Africa shanty town sort of thing.
All I can think of in my head now is District 9.
Yeah. that's the thing that you don't see.
Yeah.
Unless you actually go there, you ain't gonna see it. Because obviously the media isn't gonna fucking do it. And with EU, they're not gonna go, yeah, film it all, film.
Yeah.
Show how bad one of our biggest countries are.
Yeah. Well, it's clearly just because, France is so terrible. So I forget where it originates from, but apparently a French baiting weather forecast from quite a long time ago. Storm in Channel, continent isolated. I believe that was in the shipping forecast. But yeah, it's the thing of if people have gone all the way to, France and have then gone, let's keep going.
Yeah.
That, that's not going to happen by mistake. You don't just travel across an entire, the height of a continent to live in Blackpool.
It's not okay. Whoops, I accidentally ended up hidden in the back of this truck.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I would hope that these people are not actively going, I'm going to make a new better life for myself by starting off by breaking the law to enter a country.
Yeah.
I would hope that large amounts of people are not actively choosing to do that and someone is telling them that they should be doing it or persuading them that it's a good idea. That's the only, as far as I'm concerned, reasonable approach to that question is why would you choose to put yourself in, such a dangerous situation?
Yeah, because, the idea has to have...
We have loads of legal immigration options, I'm pretty sure there's, a desk for it in most, airports and places. And, most countries will have, a consulate.
Yeah,
you can apply for this stuff. So it's not like you can't do it. It's just they're not doing it.
No, half of my family...
Which then begs the question, okay, if they're already in the country, how are they getting anything? Because surely they've got no papers. Or if they haven't got any papers, or if they have got papers, they've got rid of them. So then how are they,
Yeah, how
do they get into the system?
Yeah, and
because,
why have we become, the ultimate goal?
If I want to get a job, I need my national insurance card. And as far as I'm concerned, those don't just happen. They don't just come in the post, sort of thing. You have to apply for them. To apply for them, you need things.
A few years ago, there was a story. I think she was an African woman. She had 2 national insurance numbers. She was claiming benefits on one and working, 30 odd hours on the other. And you know what they did? They took away one of her thingies. National insurance numbers, and they turned and said, if you ever go on benefits again, we're going to deduct the money from that.
How do you get both?
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember how long I've had my national insurance card, or whether it's something my parents have just had for ages and I eventually got from them. I don't remember.
Don't you get it? Doesn't it automatically get sent to you when you're 16? I think.
I don't remember. But I know I've had it to get a job.
Yeah.
I know that you can apply for a temporary one if you've got, citizenship. And the only reason I can guess that works is because of EU citizens can just enter the country. And they would need a passport, that would be it.
Yeah.
That kind of begs the question, how can you get a job if you don't have any of the documents? This isn't
cash in hand first. Start off until they can work the system into what they need.
I know, but if you're going to get a job anyway, then just get a job. I've tried with, trying to, take things easy and be relaxed so I don't injure myself more, and I just can't not work. I like having money to, spend on things that I want to, and as a result of that, working is a useful byproduct. Rather, being paid is a useful byproduct of working. I just can't.
I wouldn't know this thing because it's been a while since I've had a job.
I was meant to be working this morning, and then I never got the call from the person who was meant to be calling me out. Apparently they just did it with the tenants instead. Someone must have let him into the house. And it's like, oh, alright then. Someone had fun, because I got that message at like 9:30 in the morning, and it's a Sunday. It's like, someone got woken up by a delivery driver. But, yeah, that's the thing. I just kind of don't follow the logic of how the system works. Fairly, you know.
Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to put logic into something that doesn't have logic or doesn't work on logic.
I guess, but...
Basically, you got to treat the system like 7 days to die.
So, try not to break my legs.
But you know what I mean. It's just, you don't try and put sense to something that that doesn't make sense.
I mean, I guess, but...
Trust me, I've been dealing with the system for 15 years.
Fun.
Because my very first experience with this system, they fucked up with payment and overpaid me. I pointed it out within like a day, actually the same day I received the check, and they went, "It's my fault."
Yeah, they did that to Viper Sword.
Mm.
It's the, we fucked up, but it's your fault because, reasons.
Yep.
It's a good system.
Yep, because apparently any reasonable person would have seen these mistakes. Okay? What does that make your people then? You don't get an answer out of that question.
No. Not an enthusiastic one anyway, I'd imagine. But, yeah, no, I just seen that, that's the thing, the system, as far as I'm aware works, shouldn't work the way it seems to for a lot of other people. And it's just like, how? I know, I'm not being like, oh, these people shouldn't, have the system. I'm saying, no, how the fuck does the system actually work then? Because apparently, I'm not informed. Yeah, it's just sort of like, what? Anyway, I'm going to put this green chip plant together, and then I'm going to log off for the day and go and do something different. Like build more of my signal box. Because I've got all the cute little furniture done now.
Oh, you have to post pictures of it.
I will. I also go and turn my light on. It's nearly 3.5 hours. That's a little bit longer than I planned to stream. So I hope everyone's enjoyed this elongated, rambling stream of discussing spiraling political problems caused by the fact that this entire channel might just be gone soon. Because even playing on Roll20 might stop because Roll20 is someone else's thing. And I won't be able to stream it. I will only be able to stream my assets that I've created unless they're going to go really, really anal and going, that particular colour is copyrighted. Wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
That means Twitch is going to go down the shitter, isn't it?
Well, in the EU at least.
Yeah.
YouTube's gone, Facebook will go, Twitter will go.
Well,
Instagram for definite.
Well, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm kind of not being a negative here at the moment. As always.
You don't get to opt out. Is the main problem. You know how if you put an image up online, you can copyright it, or you can just leave it up there as fair use, or just free use. No, can't do that anymore. If someone wants to use your image, they have to pay you. That's how I've seen it written, and it's just like, well, that's a hot mess. Yeah.
What? So they can't even give it to you?
Nope. And if you want
well, I
to
guess we'll go back to the bottom.
Let's say you've put a picture up on DeviantArt. Say Pencil Cookie making her images for Omegon, right? Say she puts a picture of it up, and she wants to share a link to that, and then say Omegon wants to show it to someone else. He cannot do that unless he pays the link tax, which I'm not even sure who the link tax is payable to. And of course they can deny your request to link things as well. Let's say, it's just, all I've seen about Article 13, it's just a very convoluted way of saying, stop having fun.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to stop having fun and do something else. Have a nice